38 degrees in downtown Chicago on this first Sunday of January, and Soldier Field is the place to be as the Bears take the field, ready to face the Eagles in this wild card playoff game.
The postseason, all across sports, there's nothing like it, right? From the diamond.
This ball is gone! And the Red Sox live to play again.
We knew our team was special, even when we got down 3 games to none.
To the hardwood.
The Warriors do it by becoming only the 10th team to win while trailing 3 games to 1.
To the ice.
Much to the frustration of Alexander Ovechkin, are going back to Tampa, all tied up.
The Washington Capitals are the Stanley Cup champions.
But you know, not all postseasons are created equal. Because while there are plenty of sports that give you another shot tomorrow, there's only one that offers no tomorrow at all.
He'll fire to the right side, caught by Nick. Stay on! Oh my God! 30-10! It's the Minneapolis Miracle!
With the fact it's playoffs, it's win or go home, you know, this would have been one for the ages had we been able to pull it off. Now
today, these two teams bring big dreams, but no illusions. Everything they've done to get here, that's all behind them. In pro football, there's no game 2, game 3, or game 7. This is the NFL playoffs. This is the best of one.
One of the NFL's iconic venues, Soldier Field. For the first time in 8 years, playoff football has come back to Chicago as Mitchell Trubisky and the Bears are set to meet last year's Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles and the Philadelphia Eagles in this wild card playoff game. Al Michaels with Chris Collinsworth, Michelle DeFoya. Go back to Thanksgiving. Who could have seen this coming? The Eagles were 4-6. They had a slew of injuries. Everybody was giving the Eagles last rites. You know the rest. 5-1 down the stretch. Nick Foles has once again ridden in on his white horse, and here we are again. Meanwhile, the Bears, under first-year head coach Matt Nagy, wound up with a record of 12-4. Their defense has allowed the fewest points in the league. The offense capable of rising to the occasion. If they win today, it's off to Los Angeles to meet the Rams next Saturday in the divisional round. So, Chris, for Chicago, it's been a storybook season. How do they get the job done today?
Well, everybody wants to make this about Mitch Trubisky, but the reason the Bears are here is they have a great defense, and they should absolutely play to it. Trubisky's at his best anyway. If he's running around, scrambling, trying to make plays, and the one thing this Eagles defense they want to see Mitch Trubisky throwing from the pocket.
Now, the Eagles come in as an underdog. Haven't we seen this movie before?
The one starring Nick Foles with that little smile on his face, yeah. You know, but the Eagles all season long have struggled in their secondary, and that's really been their problem. All the injuries, 13 different starters back there. But if you watch the last few games of the Philadelphia Eagles, all of a sudden that weakness is starting to look like a strength. Beware the champs.
It's the final game of a wild card weekend. Eagles-Bears from Chicago next on NBC.
NBC's Wild Card Playoff is brought to you by Subway, now delivering to your front door, and by Hyundai, official sponsor of the NFL.
It's a big stage. I mean, it's the playoffs.
It's win or go home, but we earned this opportunity to be here.
Bears looking mean out there. Eagle, watch out.
We're battle-tested as a football team. We faced a lot of adversity.
We are going to be dangerous. This is a hot team, man. Nobody wants to see us right now.
Let's do or die. We're a dominant defense, a dominant team, and we just got to be ourselves.
Let's go! We are not done yet!
Soldier Field, what a sight on the 6th day of January. Almost ready for the kickoff. Before that, though, to the field we go. And Michelle Tafoya. Michelle.
Well, Al, some good news and bad news for the Bears on the injury front. A little mystery surrounding tight end Trey Burton, who practiced fully all week and never appeared on the injury report until he was added late last night with a groin injury. Now, a few minutes ago, I spoke with Matt Nagy, who told me that the injury just showed up yesterday morning, that Burton went straight to the facility and worked with the medical staff, but to no avail. He will be replaced by Adam Shaheen. Now, the good news, all-pro safety Eddie Jackson, who missed the last 2 games with an ankle injury and was limited in practice this week, tested it out in pregame. He will play, but Al, Nagy was non-committal with me as to whether or not Jackson would start tonight.
We'll find out very shortly as you take a look at, of course, 2 of the icons. Such a history with the Chicago Bears. Brian Urlacher, recently inducted into the Hall of Fame, and Dick Butkus. So much tradition with this franchise, especially when it comes to the linebackers. And that really gets him going here in Chicago, where the last playoff game here was played back in 2010 when they lost to Green Bay in the NFC Championship game. And of course, speaking of tradition, this guy establishing his own right now, Khalil Mack, that trade on the eve of the season, coming to Chicago with a difference that's made. Chicago won the toss. They defer, so Cody Parkey will kick off, and that's Boston Scott, who is a 5'6" rookie, picked up recently off the New Orleans practice squad to run it back. And Scott will let it bound through the end zone, and the Eagles will take over at the 25-yard line with this offense.
Nick Foles, Arizona.
Wendell Smallwood, West Virginia.
Alshon Jeffrey, South Carolina.
Nelson Aguilar, Fight On.
Golden Tate, Notre Dame.
Zach Ertz, Stanford.
Jason Peters, Arkansas.
Isaac Selmar-Lowe, Oregon State University.
Jason Kelsey, University of Cincinnati.
Brandon Brooks, Miami University.
Lane Johnson, Oklahoma.
Brandon Brooks on his way to the Pro Bowl. Lane Johnson was snubbed. Meanwhile, Deion Bush starts at safety. There he is, so Jackson will not start. And here are the Eagles, the crowd already raucous, beginning from the 25-yard line. Wendell Smallwood is the back. Give it to Smallwood. Picks up a couple through the middle. Tackled by Roquan Smith, their first-round pick, and Leonard Floyd.
One of the things you're going to see early and often is a big double team right there on that guy, Akeem Hicks. You want to run the football inside against the Chicago Bears, that's where it starts.
Mack gets so much of the attention, but Hicks has had a tremendous season. 2nd down and 8. Foles, his first pass of the game, a short little flip here to Smallwood, and Wendell Smallwood picks up the initial first down of the game and gets out to the 50-yard line. Kyle Fuller runs him down after a gain of 22.
Well, the one thing you always want to do is a tackle. Set wide, get this guy inside so you can get the screen pass going outside. Exactly what happens here. You think you've got a pass rush move working, and it works against you.
Eagles come up, no huddle from their own 49-yard line. Foles over the middle, and that's caught at the 35-yard line, and the catch is made there by Zach Ertz, 2nd in the league in receptions to Michael Thomas of New Orleans, and set an NFL record most catches by a tight end.
Well, anytime you get a chance to get this big guy going, Zach Ertz, astronomical with what he was able to do this year. And really, when Carson Wentz went out, we saw a little bit less of him with Nick Foles at quarterback, but now working back to it.
Foles, the pump fake, then he throws to the outside. That pass is incomplete, intended for Nelson Aguilar. So Foles, when it comes to postseason, he made his first postseason start back in 2013, and then last year, of course, off the charts. 8 touchdowns, 1 pick, Super Bowl MVP, and that rating is the highest in postseason history. Josh Adams now comes in at running back. Second down and 10. Run a draw with the undrafted rookie out of Notre Dame, and Khalil Mack stops him after a gain of about 1. Third down.
Well, if you can't block Khalil Mack, then just leave him alone and read him. So he'll come out, and Nick Foles will end up reading him, give the handoff, but Mack just too athletic. He's able to get down and make the tackle.
Third down and 8. Eagles come in with Darren Sproles this time. They have 3 running backs, Smallwood, Adams, and Sproles. The start of the year, of course, with Jay Ajayi, who went on injured reserve in week 5, and they also lost Corey Clement to injury. Third and 8.
This is where Foles has been tremendous on third down.
Clean pocket over the middle, caught, and that one is caught by Alshon Jeffrey, the former Chicago Bear. Said earlier this week, hey, let me hear it. Can't wait to come back here. Says, I've got the best hands in the world.
And he does. They go to alert coverage, which leaves no inside help whatsoever. And you could tell that Foles just has a confidence when it has to go to Jeffrey. And there's Mack inside getting double teamed. But Foles will throw that thing up above the rim, as he likes to call it, to Jeffrey, and it works.
Opening drive, 7th play from the 20-yard line. On a draw again, this time Sproles to the outside, and Mack is right there to say no, sir. And let's take a look at that Bear defense.
Akeem Hicks, University of Regina, Saskatchewan.
Eddie Goldman, Florida State. Khalil Mack, University of Buffalo.
Danny Trevathan, Kentucky.
Roquan Smith, University of Georgia.
Leonard Floyd, Georgia. Kyle Fuller, Virginia Tech.
Adrian Amos, Penn State.
Deion Bush, the U.
Prince Amukamara, Nebraska. Sheriff McManus, Northwestern.
Fuller tied for the league lead with interceptions with 7. They go 5 wide here on second down and 13. Foles fires over the middle, and that is hauled in at the 17-yard line. Ertz again. Roquan Smith makes the tackle. He broke Jason Witten's record this year for most catches by a tight end.
Boy, this is going to be a show if you like watching coverage skills today. Roquan Smith, an outstanding young linebacker, is going to get Zach Ertz and all the record-breaking catches that he has. That young linebacker can play. They've got guys really fast inside with Roquan Smith and Danny Trevathan to help in this coverage. Once again, though, here comes Nick Foles on third down.
3rd and 7. They're 1 for 1 on third down. There's Carson Wentz. Fracture in his lower back, so he's been on the shelf since the middle of December. A low snap, but Foles comes away with it. Look out from behind, and down he goes at the 25-yard line. Leonard Floyd, number 94, right there to put him down and make it 4th and 15.
Great job on the back end with the coverage of the Chicago Bears. You can see Nick Foles have to pull it down, and once he did that, that was it. Leonard Floyd had time to get off Jason Peters and get to the sack.
Jake Elliott now a 43-yard attempt for a kid who grew up nearby. Very little wind shouldn't be a factor here on this 38-degree late afternoon. And from 43 away, that kick is right through the upright. So Philadelphia scores on the opening drive to lead 3-0 at Soldier Field. Off the Andy Reid tree, and that tree is really blossoming these days. Doug in his 3rd year, Matt in his 1st year. Nagy able to take a team that has finished last 4 years in a row to win the division and get into postseason as the number 3 seed. Jake Elliott to kick off. And here is Josh Bellamy, who has not returned a kick since 2016, running this one back to about the 21-yard line. Let's take a look at the Chicago offense.
Mitchell Trubisky, North Carolina. Jordan Howard, Indiana University.
Tariq Cohen, North Carolina A&T. Allen Robinson, D. Penn State University.
Taylor Gabriel, Abilene Christian.
Adam Shaheen, Ashland. Charles Leno Jr., Boise State.
James Daniels, Warren G. Harding High School.
Cody Whitehair, Kansas State.
Kyle Long, Saddleback College.
Bobby Massey, Ole Miss.
And Kyle Long going up against his brother on the other side, Chris, today. 3rd time these guys have been on the field together. But here is Trubisky to start this drive from his own 21. The running back is Jordan Howard, who's really come on in December. And Howard through the middle, out to the 28-yard line. Bradham makes the tackle. Let's take a look at Trubisky this season. Missed a couple of games with a shoulder injury, but a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. The rating a little better than the average for the league. In his second year, of course, he was the overall number 2 choice in last year's draft. Now Tariq Cohen comes in. He and Howard, the yin and yang in that backfield. And over the middle, and a shot complete at the 31-yard line. Taylor Gabriel, forward progress will net him the first down.
One thing you're going to see on the other side is Fletcher Cox is going to be the focal point, just like the way Aaron Donald was when they played the Rams. And Cody Whitehair sort of has a reputation at the center position of when his guard gets engaged, coming over and wiping that person out. The person being wiped out in this one will be Fletcher Cox.
Fake to Cohen, and then it's a little toss to Ben Broniker, the tight end. With Trey Burton out, Adam Shaheen takes his spot, and we'll also see more of Broniker today.
Yeah, and one of the things you always see with Chicago Bears, you see Trubisky, he's looking right at Bennett. Instead of making a play, he's just reading him. Whatever Bennett did, then you're going to see Trubisky do the other. There will be plenty of flash and dance with this Bears offense. They like to show a lot of motion, a lot of misdirection, try and get the Eagles going the wrong way.
Taquan Mizell is now in the backfield, and they give it to him. Not that many carries this season, and he's taken down by Michael Bennett. Let's take a look at the Philly defense.
Michael Bennett, A-Leaf Taylor High School.
Timmy Jernigan, Florida State. Fletcher Cox, Yazoo City High School.
Brandon Graham, Michigan.
Carmel Gurgett Hill, Eastern Illinois.
Jordan Hicks, Texas. Nigel Bradham, the Florida State University.
Avante Maddox, Pitt.
Malcolm Jenkins, the Ohio State University.
Corey Graham, New Hampshire.
Rasul Douglas, West Virginia.
Jenkins once again this season not missing a single defensive snap. 3rd and 5. Trubisky fires. That's caught at the 45-yard line. Allen Robinson missed last week with a rib injury. Former Jacksonville Jaguar makes the catch. Tackled by Maddox, first down.
Well, if you're going to double team Fletcher Cox, that means you're going to have to block the other guy on the outside, and that's Brandon Graham. That time Charles Leno going at it pretty good. Other side, you've got Massey on long, and really so far in this game, Al, we've seen both quarterbacks settle in with some good throws early in the game.
Got motion, got motion.
Trubisky has started 3 for 3, and Foles has started 4 out of 5. From the 45-yard line, keep it on the ground here. Nothing happening for Howard, who was stopped for no gain. 2nd and 10.
The other thing that you're going to do is you're going to bring in some bigger guys, Bradley Soul here, and take a different kind of shot, this time on Fletcher Cox, the old Rob Gronkowski wham block. So really what they're trying to do is get his attention. They want him to feel the pain of it coming from all directions. And those two guys, at least the parents, hope they never run into each other.
Brother versus brother on a 2nd down and 10 from the 46-yard line. Trubisky chased, fires on the run, and it's incomplete. Going deep down the sideline. Fletcher Cox, number 91, gets into the backfield, and that normally means you're running for your life. 3rd and 10.
Well, here's Kyle Long here going against Fletcher Cox, and I think he's trying to set to the inside, and all of a sudden Fletcher Cox just gave him one of those kind of moves, goes right around him, immediately going to flush Trubisky out of the pocket. Really just had to throw that one away.
3rd and 10. 5.5 to go in the opening quarter. Eagles with a field goal on their opening drive, up 3-0. Four-man rush. Trubisky looking for help, and he has to throw that one, almost picked off by Avante Maddox. An incomplete 4th down, intended for Howard. In comes the punt unit.
Good pressure that time by Chris Long getting inside, but anytime you flip a ball like that to the outside, this was really dangerous. Avonte Maddox has been a real game changer since he's come into the game and back from injury. He's played everywhere this year.
Patrick O'Donnell, been their punter since he was the only punter drafted in the 2014 draft. The ever dangerous and still dangerous in his mid-30s, Darren Sproles sets up at the 10-yard line. Got a flag down. There was action up front. Bounces into the end zone, but let's get the call here. Referee today is Tony Correnti. Kind of neat to go 10 minutes without seeing any laundry.
Definitely looked like the Eagles' Leroy Reynolds jumped into the neutral zone, whether he was drawn or not.
Well, the Bears are backing up as if they're going to kick again. All right, Tony, we're ready.
As offside on the defense gives Chicago an option. They have opted to take the 4th down replayed with a 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
All right. And it gives us a chance to tell you this week, done with the night show from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You got Andy Samberg, you got James Spader, Gwyneth Paltrow will be along as well. Michael B. Jordan at Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon all this week on NBC as we take a cruise down the Chicago River. Beautiful weekend here. Temperature got up to 50 degrees yesterday. Right now, a very pleasant 38 and almost windless at Soldier Field. Bears opting to kick again. And that kick will bounce just out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Just out. So a good decision made by Chicago. Philly will start from the 1 when we come back. Return of the Monsters of the Midway this year. 17.7 points per game allowed. That's the best in the league. 6 touchdowns on takeaways. 50 sacks. 27 picks. Last time they did that back in the mid-80s. 9 players with a sack or an interception, most by any team since they started recording sacks back in '82. And that defense right now has Philadelphia backed up to its 1-yard line, trying to get out of the shadow of the end zone. And with that second effort, able to do it is Wendell Smallwood, almost trapped at the line of scrimmage. Hicks, the first guy to hit him. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Ooh, Smallwood, when he spun around, he was definitely back into the end zone one more time. This was an opportunity for this Bears defense, and they could not quite capitalize on it.
So some breathing room here. And they go 5 wide, including Sproles here on a 2nd down and 6. Blitz coming, he gets it away, it's tipped and it's incomplete. That time they sent Trevathan on the blitz intended for Zach Ertz. 3rd down and 6. That Bear defense, the mastermind there, he is Vic Fangio, and he will be interviewed this week by the Broncos and the Dolphins for the head coaching job. 32nd season as an NFL coach, 60 years old, and he has done a masterful job as a holdover from John Fox's staff. And Nagy could have brought in his own guy, but he said, you got a guy like Fangio, you keep him. Doug Peterson looks on as his team on a 3rd and 6 from the 5. Little dump off there. Whoa, is that dangerous? As Smallwood makes the catch, Trevathan is right there. Back him up a couple of more yards. 4th down, and they'll punt from the very back of the end zone.
Anytime you have man coverage on a screen pass, it works out great for somebody. This time Trevathan able to avoid the block right there of Brandon Brooks and make a play for what looked like nearly a safety. Once again, the man coverage ability of these 2 linebackers coming into play early.
There's Cohen back to accept the kick. Cameron Johnston, 3rd in the league in net punting. Another of the Aussie punters. Sends that one toward midfield, and Cohen calls for and makes a fair catch at the 48-yard line. 3-0 Philadelphia.
And if you feel like I feel, baby, then come on. Oh, come on. Woo. Let's get it on.
Applebee's All You Can Eat is here. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood.
You recognize the man up top, the great Howie Long. Happy birthday to Howie, 59. Wife Diane in front. One of their sons, Howie Jr., next to him. You got Chris Long on one side. You got Kyle Long on the other. You go around the country, they see a few football games during the course of the season.
Yes, they do. I asked Diane, how you dealing with the pressure? And she said, same way I always do, when shopping for shoes.
That'll do it. Mizell is the running back here. Franklin Trubisky from the 48-yard line as the Bears begin this drive on the plus side of the 50. With Trubisky firing, and it's knocked away at the last moment. Trying to get it to Mizell, and we go to Michelle.
Well, I spoke with Howie Long, and he said Chris is a psychological predator. He's FaceTimed Kyle all week, including one time where Chris had his toddler son, Waylon, singing Fly, Eagles, Fly. As for Kyle, Howie said he's more like me. Once the switch goes, he's very emotional, and at the end of the day, they really, really love one another. And Howie said Chris told him, hey, look, I've won 2 Super Bowls. You can cheer for Kyle.
Yeah, he won one with New England, and then the other with Philadelphia last year. He's been in the right spot, the right place at the right time the last 2 years. Second down and 10. Big hole through the middle, exploited by Howard. Tackle made by Bradham. After a gain of 6, it'll be 3rd down and 4.
So once again, just changing up the blocking assignments. This time they go with a trap up the field. So what they're trying to do is take these great pass rushers of the Philadelphia Eagles, get them moving vertically, and then hit them from the side. You want pass rushers thinking about what they're not seeing.
3rd and 4.
Hey, 53!
Done with some pressure, and that's knocked it down at the line of scrimmage to make it 4th down and 4. So a 3 and out here.
Yeah, I think they're using Nigel Bradham now as a spy, and because he was in that position, he wasn't really rushing right over the center position. He was able to just follow the eyes of Trubisky, get right in the throwing lanes, and knock it down.
So here's O'Donnell, whose last punt went out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Perfect. Sproles is back for the Eagles. Again, the nose down kick. And this time Sproles will let it bounce. And the Bears will down the ball at the 7-yard line. Mizell downs it there. 2.5 left in the opening quarter. Eagles 3, Bears nothing. Sunday, January 27th. And you can see it at 3 Eastern time on ESPN and ABC. And those 4 guys are going to be there, unless they're in the Super Bowl, which will be played the following weekend in Atlanta. This drive begins from the Eagles' 7-yard line. Start on the ground. Give it to Sproles. Used to play with the Chargers and Saints. Now here, Trevathan makes the tackle. And of course, Chris, last week, you actually go back 2 weeks ago when Jadeveon Clowney hit Foles, and then he got hit again last week, and Minnesota had to come out of the game with a rib injury.
Yeah, he said he was physically still a little bit sore. Got it re-injured a bit when he got landed on in the Washington game. Working with his doctor, a little holistic medicine this week, but he said certainly good enough to play. And he looked sharp that first drive.
He did. 2nd down and 9. He's 5 out of his first 7 for 55 yards. Foles in the pocket, scrambles away, and then throws that one away. Chased that time by Khalil Mack. And Chris, wouldn't that have been interesting if Foles couldn't have played? Remember, they didn't put Carson Wentz on injured reserve, so he's still active, even though he's on the active roster, inactive today. Wouldn't that have been some discussion?
Yeah, we asked Doug Peterson about that, and he said it would be a very interesting discussion. I can't imagine, though, that they wouldn't have at least taken a long look at Carson Wentz in that situation.
There's the backup right now, Nate Sudfeld, who actually threw a touchdown pass in relief of Foles last week, and then had to negotiate with a fan in the stands to get the football back. 3rd and 9. Keep it on the ground with Sproles, and he's able to slither it through. Does he get stopped before he reaches the line to gain? It's Deion Bush who comes up to make the stop, but they're going to give him a very fortuitous spot here and move the chains.
Really nice check that time by Nick Foles. He saw just the 6 guys down in the box, so they're going to bring Seumalo around here on a power against the linebacker and pop Sproles right through there. Good looking hit by Bush, just a fraction too late.
First down from the 18. Smallwood stopped behind the line of scrimmage. That penetration by Akeem Hicks in his 7th year. Used to play with New England, played his college football up in Saskatchewan.
And Brandon Brooks is one of the bigger, stronger guys around, and we have seen Hicks throw guys like that all season long. There's no question that one of the first guys that gets their attention, obviously you've got Khalil Mack, there's Eddie Jackson, a great player, but it is clearly Akeem Hicks inside when you're trying to run.
Jackson still hasn't played. He was a game-time decision. They decided to activate him, but we haven't seen him on the field yet. 2nd and 11, blitz coming, and that's caught by Alshon Jeffrey. You talk about hands. Look at that. He backhands it. Fuller with the recovery, and he loves coming back to Chicago and handing it to the Bears.
Yeah, one of the things that you love about Alshon Jeffrey is he finds a way to make you think he's going inside, go outside, make you think he's going outside, go inside. But he is a basketball player. He plays this whole game at about 9 to 10 feet.
End of 1, Eagles 3, Bears nothing. This wild card playoff game back after these messages. Soldier Field in Chicago. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle DeFoyer, and there is the grand lady of the Bears, Virginia Hallis McCaskey, daughter of George Hallis, who celebrated birthday number 96 yesterday.
Pretty awesome.
Oh, great. From the 30-yard line, 1st and 10. Foles off play action, wide open and making the catch at midfield as Jeffrey stays in bounds for a couple of more yards. And Alshon Jeffrey has already caught 3 passes in the first 15 minutes and a few seconds.
Going to get a loop inside that almost gets there, but here's the route going across the field. You see it more and more and more as teams play that single high safety, just trying to get the clear out of the safety and then bring that guy atop. Good job that time by Nick Foles getting that ball off right as he was getting contact.
Take the Smallwood. Smallwood, look out, it gets picked off. Picked off by Smith. Roquan Smith is off to the races. Out in front, nobody will get him, but they're going to rule him down by contact. There will be no touchdown. They're going to say rule down by contact as Smallwood is taken down as he makes the catch. Correcting now, talking with
ruling on the field
his colleagues.
Was interception by Chicago, ruled down by contact. Bears ball, 1st down.
So there's no run back, no touchdown, but it will be a turnover.
You're going to see the contact occurs with the interception. When does he have control? Right there? Clearly plenty of contact there to be down on the spot. Roquan Smith, we've been talking about him the whole game. Now this is more of a zone and he's reacting up to it. But he is an aggressive young linebacker. You see why he was a top 10 pick. And his ability in coverage is really showing up early in this game.
So no 65-yard run back, but the Bears, who led the league in takeaways this season, and in the give-take ratio department, they were a +12 to Philadelphia's -6. As Chicago takes over at the 35-yard line. That's Jordan Howard coming back into the backfield. And Trubisky will keep it. He'll be taken down behind the line of scrimmage. Nigel Bradham had a nice game so far. 2nd down and long.
Yeah, and there's Smallwood, who couldn't quite hang on to that one. But you're starting to see now the strategy of this Eagles defense. They are going to crash this in on this read option and bring the linebacker around. They want to give Trubisky as many different looks as he's going to give them. This offense with the RPO and the read option stuff has about as many routes off of that as any team in the league.
2nd and 11. Trubisky dancing to the left and then throws, and it's caught up at the 40-yard line. No fumble there. That was down. Adam Shaheen getting the start today because of Trey Burton being inactive. Makes the catch. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Let's see if he was down.
Catch, elbow down. Yep,
right.
No question.
Malcolm Jenkins makes the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
So now you get to the pass rushers, and this is where the Philadelphia Eagles really excel. This is the opportunity. You get Chris Long in the game, and now's when Trubisky has to beware.
And obviously the pass rush helps the back end, which has been depleted all season long. Trubisky under pressure, sidearms it caught, but short of the 1st down. So Anthony Miller makes the catch. The flag is down. Trevon LeBlanc made the tackle, and Tony Correnti will tell us the rest of the story.
After the conclusion of the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 77. 15-yard penalty and an automatic 1st down.
So instead of a punt, they keep the ball. Bennett with the penalty, and Chicago will have it in Eagle territory.
Watch Kyle Long finish this play by pushing Bennett completely out. Gives him a little shove. Bennett's going to react right there. And again, I think the 2nd one gets him.
Yep. The Bears this season, there's the official right there. The Bears 46 1st downs by penalty this year. That's the top mark in the league. That's about 3 per game. Trubisky fires over the middle, and that will be called in by Cohen for a big gain down to the 24-yard line. Tariq Cohen will be going to the Pro Bowl, gains 20.
Come on, Mitch Trubisky, come on, look at that one. A little sidearm flip moving to his left to a running back screaming down into a very small gap in the defense. That's the prettiest play I've seen him make all year. Just gets out of the way of the pass rush and puts it in there beautifully.
Taking a page out of the Patrick Mahomes book.
Man, what a throw.
From the 24, we have a whistle, and we have a timeout called by the Chicago Bears. And we're back in 30 seconds after this from AWS.
We didn't dream up a new way to find the best ramen. We never thought, you know what Mars needs? A dune buggy. We didn't decide you should be able to share your home with travelers from around the world. We're not the ones who imagined one day we'd all be streaming movies, or whatever she's about to do. But when asked if these ideas were possible, we're the only cloud with the capabilities, experience, and know-how to make them happen. AWS is how.
Soldier Field, a little bit after sunset right now with 11:47 remaining in the opening half. That penalty on Bennett, very costly. Instead of a punt on what would have been a 4th and 3. 1st down, ball now at the 24-yard line. Trubisky is 6 of his first 10 for 46 yards. Cohen can't get around the corner. Nice tackle made there by Douglas. Tariq Cohen, he's only 5'6", but what a weapon he is. Can run it, obviously can catch it. He's a good return man. He's a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, the only one of these guys on the offensive side to make the Pro Bowl this year, and he has just been something special. Everybody had a reason why that young man, Tariq Cohen, couldn't play professional football. There was only one good one. Why he is, was he really good.
Well, his idol is in a green and white uniform On the other side, number 43, a guy named Darren Sproles, is also 5'6", as Trubisky buys a lot of time and then fires to the 25-yard line. Robinson makes the catch with Jenkins right there, smothering him. Let's take a look at these two guys. So Sproles has been around a long time with San Diego, with New Orleans, and now here, 5'6", 190 is Darren. Cohen comes in at 181 pounds. Philadelphia also has Boston Scott, who's active tonight, another 5'6" guy.
Well, one thing we know, Cohen can run the whole route tree. With that scouting report last night from Malcolm Jenkins, that most guys that play that position, maybe 2 or 3 routes, he can run anything.
3rd and 10. Runs a route here, and Trubisky's going to run. Trubisky looking for that first down, but he'll come up well short of it. And they'll have to settle for a field goal attempt, and he comes up a little gimpy there at the end of the play.
Uh-oh. And running and scrambling is his game.
It is.
Remember what the Eagles had to tell us, that the one thing they want to see is Trubisky throwing the ball from the pocket.
Well, here comes Sparky to try to tie the game. Meanwhile, Chase Daniel is the backup quarterback for Chicago. He made 2 starts when Trubisky earlier this season here, and one last week at Minnesota. And this time he just bangs it inside the left upright to tie the game. 9:38 left in the opening half in this wildcard playoff game in Chicago. 3-3. Right now is Mitch Trubisky. We saw him coming up with a slight limp when he left the field. Here it is. Here's the end of the play. So he is in the 10. Obviously, we'll get a report as quickly as possible. Chase Daniels was loosening up during the commercial break, and with the game tied at 3-3, Parkey's kickoff here will not be returned. You know, it's funny, Chris, earlier this season, all the offense, the scoreboard looked like a pinball machine. As the season has wound down, a lot of defensive struggles, but then the offense begins to pick up. Look at this weekend with Dallas and Seattle, with the Chargers and Baltimore today. You have a defensive first half and then an explosion in the second half.
Well, and a lot of the teams that have been able to run the football, that's been a big part of the key to the whole thing. But this is really an interesting deal now with Mitch Trubisky. As much a part of his game that running is, you're just a little concerned, how different will this Bears offense be if he can't run, even if he can come back?
No doubt. From the 25-yard line, Smallwood is the running back. He gets it. Nice game here. Wendell Smallwood, who was kind of an afterthought at the beginning of the season, gained a 10. Trubisky is now out of the tent, slapping hands with some guys. It looks like he is ready to come back in. Jay Ajayi started the year. We mentioned he is on IR. So is Clemency. You've had Smallwood, Josh Adams, and Darren Sproles picking it up at the running game for Philadelphia in December. And on first down, going nowhere. Taken down, it's Eddie Goldman in the middle. Kind of an overlooked guy, too, because you've got Mack and you've got Hicks getting a lot of publicity, and then there's Eddie in the middle.
Yeah, there's a lot of beef in there, and sometimes when Hicks is out and takes a rest, and there's Mack over there on the sideline as well, they'll go down into their Bears defense. Why not? They're the Chicago Bears. And just try and just shrink it down and try and force you to do something to the outside. Let those speedy linebackers run and catch it.
Got Isaiah Irving in at linebacker, number 47. On second down and 10. Floyd's coming as well from the near side, and Foles fires, and that's caught by Aguilar, making the catch, sliding to the ground at the 46-yard line. Nelson Aguilar, who has come on as well, as he's had a great affinity with Foles down the stretch.
Boy, Nick Foles has just been unbelievable. He is getting balls out and actually getting hit when he's throwing the football. Some of his numbers and statistics upon contact have been amazing this year. Despite the ribs, despite everything going on with him, he will just hang in there and make those tough throws.
The Cinderella Man from the 46-yard line, trying to cut it back and getting into Bear territory to the 49-yard line goes Darren Sproles. when Foles was contacted, you go back to the hit he took when he was contacted. He's completed 13 of 20 for 197. That passer rating is terrific. Tops in the NFL.
You have to have a tough guy at quarterback. There's just no way around that. And come playoff time, with the way that the Bears can bring pressure even from those inside linebackers, you're going to get hit.
2nd and 5. Gives it to Sproles. He gets taken down to the 50. Sherrick McManus making the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 6 from midfield. Crowd in full throat. First playoff game here in 8 years. And they're ready. 3rd and 6. Foles, good protection, slings it downfield, and that's caught in traffic. That's Golden Tate. Came over in midseason from the Lions. He pays the price but makes the catch. And a big conversion for 28 yards.
Nick Foles, the tough guy at quarterback, but maybe tougher on that play was Golden Tate. Man, what a shot he took, and he knew he was going to take it too.
And that's McManus, who gets hurt as well. So an injury timeout here. The ball will be at the Chicago 22-yard line when we come back. Foles, edition 7. That passer rating in 2013, his 2nd year. 3rd highest in history. 25 straight completions last week. 7 TD passes in a game at Oakland back in 2013. First 4 postseason games. 100 passer rating or better. Super Bowl MVP. And the big question, of course, is can he possibly do it again? Gets Philadelphia into the playoffs. Last year, same thing when Wentz went down, and you know the rest of that story. So 1st down at the 22-yard line. Keep it on the ground. Burrowing ahead is Darren Sproles. Gain of 1. Goldman makes the tackle. 2nd down.
We have to talk a little bit about what just happened with Sherrick McManus going out. Bryce Callahan was already out, so here's McManus coming back in. That is a really good sign. You don't want to be down to your 3rd slot cornerback. I was surprised the Eagles didn't go after it right away on that first play.
Yeah, that was Marcus Williams, who's been with 6 teams in 2 years, which tells you a lot. 2nd down and 9. Foles stepping up, stepping away, gets hit from behind, fires, picked off in the end zone. And Amos thought about coming out with it, and then he says, no, I'll just keep it there and take it at the 20. Adrian Amos with the pick. And Foles throwing his 2nd interception of the game. Pressure put on by Floyd. 3-3. Foles just 1 pick in his first 4 postseason games. 2 already today. That one picked off by Adrian Amos in the end zone. And Trubisky, who went into the medical tent, is back. Hasn't missed a play. Starts from the 20-yard line on this drive. Give it to Jordan Howard. He gets taken down. Branham with another tackle, and back we go to the interception.
Adrian Amos right here looks like he's playing too deep, but instead he's going to go to the center field, which allows him to go over and make the play. They'll play man coverage back on the backside of it. That's the subtlety of this Vic Fangio defense. It all starts off looking the same, Al, and then they just make a change so subtle it's hard to pick up. It looked like Leonard Floyd was able to get a little piece of the hand that time of Nick Foles.
Tweaking the concepts. Cohen is the back on a 2nd down and 9. 4.5 till halftime. Trubisky fires to the sideline. That is almost picked off. Is it? They will say yes. Avonte Maddox able to get control of it. They'll pose in the end zone for the camera. And a turnover here. Watch Maddox.
Let's take a look. This is close, but Avonte Maddox, watch how quickly he gets out of those cuts. Was that left foot down? That is going to be the question.
With control.
Control there. He was the left foot on the ground, then right. Terry, what do you think?
I've got an incomplete pass, Chris. I mean, he gets control
right there, and he's got one foot on the ground.
One foot's down, but the knee comes down out of bounds. And I don't think he gets a second foot down or another body part. There's the elbow down before anything else comes down.
That's Terry McCauley, and they won't have to challenge this because it's ruled a turnover, so it's an official review, and we think it will be overturned. Tony Correni ready to make the call here.
After review, the Philadelphia defensive back was out of bounds and did not complete the catch. It will be Chicago's ball. 3rd down and 9 at the 21-yard line. With the game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 4:31. 4:31. Thank you.
It looked like everything with the right leg was perfectly legal. And then the left, just no knee, nothing before that elbow hit. But I would say again, be careful around Avonte Maddox. He played a lot of safety, a lot of slot. His best position and why he was drafted is to play outside cornerback, and he has been something for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Rookie 4th-round pick out of Pitt, who has really come on. 3rd down and 9. Trubisky airing it out deep downfield, turning around, and it's Allen Robinson, but he is out of bounds. And that's Maddox covering on the play, and it's 4th down.
Had him one-on-one. And the other thing, Al, that we've seen already here is since Trubisky went limping off, they're just throwing from the pocket. So he is not moving around here. We'll keep an eye on that. Straight one-on-one, inside man technique, gets his head around, catches it, but Maddox had the presence to push him out of bounds. And remember, no force outs anymore.
Patrick O'Donnell comes in to punt. It's 3rd down and Sproles. That's up at his own 35-yard line. Ball signal ready for play. Line drive short kick. Sproles collects it at the 33 with a little bobble, but nothing but blue shirts are there to take care of him at the 32-yard line. This wildcard playoff game is being brought to you by Simply Safe Home Security. Protect your home and your UGA by Progressive Insurance, handing off big savings to you, and by Hyundai, official sponsor of the NFL. That was 1988. Some good features earlier today, watching some of the pregame shows of the Fog Bowl. New Year's Eve 1988, Buddy Ryan, Mike Ditka facing off. Fog rolled in. Bears won the game 20-12. Vern Lundquist and Terry Bradshaw on the call that day. Crazy.
Only appropriate that Terry would have that call.
Right. From the 32-yard line, Smallwood tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Akeem Hicks is right there, taking him down for the loss.
So what you do is you have all these guys in here tight, so you have to block Hicks one-on-one, and really nobody can handle him. Despite his size and his strength, he has the ability, you saw him turn those shoulders almost at a 45-degree angle to slide through that gap and make yet another play.
Almost came out. 2nd down and 12. Foles 9 of 14 with those 2 picks. Blitz coming. Foles shoots a dart over the middle. Sproles says, where's the flag? There is none. Incomplete, and will be 3rd down and 12.
Well, Al, one of the concerns that I had with Nick Foles coming into this game is he is ranked 31st against zone defenses. The Bears play all zone defenses. So far tonight, 2 for 5, 41 yards, 2 interceptions against zone defenses.
And Vic Fangio knows that.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Third down, 12. They're 5 wide here. Pass over the middle that's caught by Golden Tate. He'll be tackled to the 37-yard line by Sherrick McManus. And 3 minutes remaining in the half. In comes the punt group.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be some kind of a man, but then they just sort of back off into their zones here. So anything, just let him check it down in front of him, come up and make the tackle. Of course, they're hoping with Golden Tate, as elusive as he is, he could break a tackle or two. But so far, this Bears defense, after an early struggle, they've really snapped back in defensively.
Cameron Johnston, the line drive punt. It goes out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. So 2:38, Chicago has the ball.
Well, I feel like Sunday Night Football is going to take Akeem Hicks right to the Hall of Fame. Every time we do a game, it's like this. And watch his ability to push those hands up. A lot of people try and swat them down. He does a lot of the opposite. He will take them up, and it just creates a real weakness on that offensive lineman. He does it time after time after time. Some player.
Well, at least he'll make his first stop at the Pro Bowl on his way to Canton.
There you go. Absolutely. Good player, though. He really is.
He played well in the primetime games, and that does a lot in terms of postseason honors.
Yeah, 7.5 sacks, but really what he does against the run has been what has been most impressive with him.
Bears begin from the 11-yard line. Shoot it out to Gabriel. He'll go nowhere. The tackle made by Rasul Douglas, second-year guy out of West Virginia who has come on. 2nd and 10.
Now let's talk about the secondary of the Eagles just a little bit. These guys basically were no-shows on the early part of the season. Rasul Douglas, he barely played the first 5 games, plays every snap since. Trayvon LeBlanc, he was cut by the Detroit Lions. He's a slot guy. And Avonte Maddox was playing the slot, then he had moved into safety, and now all of a sudden he's their star cornerback on the outside.
Give Jim Schwartz a lot of credit. These guys were walking around with tags that said, "Hello, my name is."
Absolutely.
2 minutes to the half. 3-3 in Chicago.
Weekend. We'll see you for the Toyota halftime at the break. Back to Al in the Windy City.
Okay, Mike, thank you. Crazy couple of games last night in Arlington, Texas. Earlier today in Baltimore. Mascots on display. 2 minutes to the half. It's 2nd down and 9. Flag is down. Looks like the Eagles came across the line. Could be a free play. And Anthony Miller makes the catch. Close to a 1st down. Somebody looked like they were off the line too fast. Might have been Jernigan.
Offside, defense number 93. This penalty has been declined. The result of the play is a 1st down.
It's one of the things that the Eagles were hoping for in this game is that with all the attention they were going to pay to Fletcher Cox, much like they did Aaron Donald, the return of Tim Jernigan could make a big difference. He's going to get the single blocks. He is the one that really needs to come up big in this game inside.
Matt Nagy is the play caller as well as the head coach. See what he is sending to Trubisky here as they go with 5 receivers. And Trubisky fires, and wide open over the middle is Anthony Miller. Out to the 44 goes the rookie Trey Sullivan. Makes the tackle, and the Bears come quickly up to the line of scrimmage.
It's a nice read by Trubisky right there. They just go with the vertical routes, and he was able to find them. He is starting to find receivers in a way that maybe he didn't before he had that shoulder injury.
This one is a low throw, and it is Robinson who is able to make the catch at the 48-yard line.
Typically, if you want to beat Trubisky, make him look away from his first read. When he goes to a 2nd or 3rd read, his numbers go way down.
2nd and 3. Trubisky fires over the middle, and that's knocked away. It's Trey Sullivan who knocks it away, intended for the tight end, working his way down the seam. Adam Shaheen making it 3rd down and 3.
The one thing you cannot do is you cannot hesitate. When you're going to pull the trigger on this middle read, you gave it that little half flinch, and that allows those defensive backs time to make a break on the ball.
3rd down and 3 now from the 49-yard line. Bring Benny Cunningham now, number 30, into the backfield. First time we have seen him tonight. Bone sets up on the left side. They give it to Cunningham. Call there. Brandon Graham got a flag down at the end of the play. He was stopped short of the first down.
Illegal use of the hands, hands to the face, defense, number 53. This 5-yard penalty is added to the end of the play and an automatic first down.
Nigel Bradham, who's had a big first half, and another first down via penalty for Chicago.
A couple of tough calls against the Philadelphia Eagles here. Let's take a look at that left hand. Just stand with them. There it is, up underneath. It's a good call.
First down at the 42-yard line, 59 seconds. The Bears have 2 timeouts. Trubisky throws. That's caught. Robinson slips away. Then he goes down to the 34-yard line. Got away from Bradham for the moment. Clock keeps running. 2nd and 2 after a gain of 8. .40 seconds. Trubisky. And that is caught and then dropped inside the 10-yard line. Anthony Miller looked like he was going to come down with the ball and could not hold on. Cre'Von LeBlanc with the cover onto the play. That close. 3rd and 3.
Cre'Von LeBlanc is just going to get his hand in between the hands here of Miller. Watch him. He didn't knock it out initially. He stays with it and eventually, just pure strength alone, pulls that sucker out. His arm is trapped and he almost got torn behind him. 1, 2. Is there 3 steps?
No review. LeBlanc picked up on waivers from Detroit in midseason. And now we have a timeout called by Chicago. Right. They wanted to make sure that the officials had all the time they needed to look at this. And this play under review. Next break, side by side review process back in 60 seconds.
They got a chance to win this with a field goal.
Give me time. Give me time.
Wait, there's a timeout. They're going to ice the kicker. What is going on?
I don't know.
I've never seen anything like this in my life.
The snap is good. Threads are up.
Taking on America, you're taking on the world.
AGT, the champions. Tomorrow, followed by Manifest on NBC.
All right, this is very interesting. We've been looking at this during the commercial. So, Terry McAuley, what do you see here?
Well, I believe we have a catch because we have control, 2 feet, and a 3rd step before the ball comes out. So this is a catch. Now, is his knee down, or does the ball come out before? And then do we have a clear recovery after that? So
I don't think any knee was down at all. Now, does anybody recover the ball other than the official?
The ball just sat there. So now what, Terry? If you don't have a clear recovery, which we don't have, except for the guy in stripes, then what?
Well, we do have a catch, so I believe the ball has to go back to Chicago.
How bizarre is this?
Crazy.
The official recovered the ball.
Right.
Yes. But it is indeed a catch.
1,
I think they
2,
meet all the requirements.
3, total control.
Yes.
No knee down. Shoot, he probably took 4 or 5 steps there.
Correct.
And now nobody gets on the football.
So Chicago's going to get the ball where, Terry?
At the spot of the fumble.
This is all part of the rule changes from last year. That third step is making it a legal catch. And now we have the most unusual of circumstances that I've ever seen with it.
I've not seen this either, where you have a reversal, but you can't finish the play because there's no recovery.
Most unusual we've seen in replay today since the Charger-Baltimore game.
2 of them.
Wow.
This is going to be crazy. The crowd will erupt if Chicago has the ball. And the Philadelphia Eagles are moving all the way back, so they know what's going to happen here. They're already moving back. They know what's going to happen. And the crowd can sense it too.
Nobody's going to believe this when they announce it.
Can't make it up.
And I'm sure for Matt Nagy, he was probably thinking, oh my goodness, what have I done? Maybe he knew that nobody recovered it and he had nothing to lose.
Well, now they're...
Well, official review. Here's Correnti.
After review, the ruling on the field will stand. There is no clear recovery of the football. Therefore, the ball will go back. It'll be 3rd down.
Wow, they're going to rule it an incomplete pass is what he's saying. He didn't say the words, but Terry, that's what he's ruling here.
That's what they're doing. But it is a completed pass.
It was. It should have been.
So he's a runner at this point, and I don't know why they don't give him the catch, because it is.
Is it fair to say this is completely uncharted territory?
They're telling us without a clear recovery, they can't call it a catch and a fumble. They have to call it incomplete. So it's 3rd down and 3 now, back at the 37. And that'll be a 1st down as Taylor Gabriel takes it to the 23. So for all the world, the Eagles thought it was back inside the 10-yard line. Crazy stuff, and timeout is called here. Terry, come on in here. You've been sitting in the makeup chair all year long, so we got to get you on camera. All right, you've been around a long time. You've refereed 3 Super Bowls, right? You've seen about everything.
Yes, I have, Alan.
Not
this
that,
is the
though,
first,
right?
but this is the first time I've seen this. And if they're going by that you have to finish it with a recovery and you can't change it, I guess that's the rule. But it doesn't seem. I mean, you've taken away a catch. I mean, somebody could have recovered it. You've taken away a catch from Chicago.
That was ruled differently.
Yes.
Right.
That was ruled incomplete.
They're not making this up on the fly, are they?
It does seem that way, doesn't it?
I had to get it out of you. 21 seconds. 1st down at the 23-yard line. Robinson is the guy in motion. And Trubisky under pressure. Fires to the end zone. And it is deflected by Trace Sullivan. And to the ground it goes incomplete. Whew. Almost a pick, almost a catch off a deflection. 13 seconds, 2nd down.
Trubisky just never saw Sullivan. He is just going to be right underneath the ball. Right there, I do believe, the whole time. He never sees him, drops it, and almost landed in the arms of Miller.
It's a game of almost. Almost a pick, almost a reception. 2nd and 10 from the 23-yard line. Dump off, drop. Cohen couldn't collect it. 3rd and 10. So you definitely have time for one play. You do have the timeout, and Cody Parkey is warming up to try to give him the lead at worst by 3.
Wow. Well, I'll say this. If there's good news for Bears fans, after seeing Trubisky limping off the field and watching this drive, you were beginning to wonder, was he going to be able to finish this game? But he's been sharp here.
12th play of the drive. They've gone 66 yards. On 3rd down, it's going to move it a little closer for Parkey. And to the 11 it goes, and they take a timeout with 3 ticks on the clock. So that will set up what will be about a 29-yard field goal attempt to take us to halftime.
It's the craziest combination of things that I've seen happen in a long time.
Yeah, man, like I say, at least 3.5 hours.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That stuff that went on in Baltimore, whatever that was.
I can barely remember the days before you could go back to New York and have a conference on it and everybody discuss it with the head of the officials. And wow.
So a 29-yard attempt. Parkey out of O'Donnell's hold. Patrick Scales will be the snapper, and timeout has been taken by Philadelphia. And we can tell you this week on Wednesday Night Hockey, it will be the Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Nashville Predators. Wednesday, you'll see at 8 Eastern time on NBC SN. Let's take one more look at the Anthony Miller play, something that none of us have ever seen. And because there's no clear recovery, should have been ruled a catch. Instead, it was ruled incomplete. But that part of it could have been overturned.
And it was the one concern everybody had with that play. If you're going to say a third step is down, there are going to be times you're going to get a fumble out of that situation, which is exactly what happened there.
The Dead Sea Scrolls are easier to dissect than the rule book. The field goal is good from 29, and the Chicago Bears will go to the locker room leading by a score of 6-3. They get the ball to start the second half. Up next, at halftime after these messages from your NBC station.
Want to stay up to date? Hey Siri, show me football scores. NBC has brought you some of
Points go from the regular season. Defense is dominating. Mistakes. Foles, the turnover here. A couple of field goals for the Bears. One for the Eagles. 6-3 on the way to the third. Mike Tirico, Tony Dungy, Rodney Harrison. Let's get back to that play at the end of the first half. This was not a great day for replay. What did you see as a coach when you watched that play at the end of the half?
Well, when they changed the replay fumble rule, I argued it was ridiculous because players stop when the whistle blows. But when they did change the rule, I always told our guys, whenever the ball is on the ground, get it. Never let a ball lay on the ground, no matter how many whistles blow.
Coach, anytime I played on the defense, anytime the ball was on the ground, regardless if the whistle blowed or not, we would always jump on the ball. Don't leave it in the hands of the officials.
Eagles didn't do it, and it cost them 3 points there. No doubt in my mind they would have gotten that ball.
Call. Yeah, call stands feels like a bailout. Because if it's a catch with steps, it's a catch, period. End of statement. Let's get to the highlights earlier. Chargers had a touchdown. It looked like one, but replay didn't give them one. They were in control on defense. They solved Baltimore from the first time they saw them.
Yes, had great adjustments in this second time around. Melvin Ingram rushing inside was one of them. He had a huge day.
First 3 quarters, Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, 3 first downs, 3 points, but they had 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. This one to Michael Crabtree, tightened it up, 6-point game. Chargers defense, though, Rodney, able to close the day.
Yeah, Coach, you talk about the pressure up the middle. They're going to have to take that to Foxborough next week.
7 sacks, and they win. Paul Burmeister talks to Phillip Rivers, who's on his way to play the Pats next Sunday.
From 23-3 to hoping your defense makes a play in the final seconds, what was that like?
Yeah, well, we had opportunities to finish it offensively. We didn't get it done. Our defense was unbelievable today. Again, going against that offense, that's tough offense. And we were going against a tough defense. We couldn't get anything but field goals early. Getting the touchdown on the 4th down was huge. I missed a chance to make it 27-3 there to Tyrell down the middle, but we found a way. Special teams with some big returns, field goals as well. It was a great team win.
Earn the right to play in Foxborough next week. Makes you think what?
Well, makes me think 2007. That year. It's been a long time. I can't wait to get there.
Thank you.
He's on his way already. That was the AFC Championship game, the closest Rivers got to the Super Bowl. Pats haven't lost at home. Chargers haven't lost outside of Southern California. We'll be in Kansas City, 3 Eastern pregame. Colts, Chiefs. Thoughts on these games?
I played against Phillip Rivers in that 2007 AFC Championship game. He had a torn ACL, couldn't do the things that he was used to doing. I know he's anxious to get back 11 years later.
And I coached a Chiefs team a Colts team in 2003 that went into Kansas City against a great offense. Andrew Luck, Patrick Mahomes. This is going to be a big, big game.
You used to coach in Kansas City. We had to cover both sides.
Both ways, yes.
We'll all be there. And Peter King was up there already this week. He visited with Patrick Mahomes. Football Morning in America columns, great stuff. And you'll see this Saturday on our pregame at 3 Eastern. The no-look Mahomes.
That is so ridiculous.
He went 1 for 1 on that. So we'll be excited to be with you from KC for the divisional playoff beginning next weekend on NBC. Up next, preview the Golden Globes tonight, and we'll hand out our awards for Wild Card Weekend. But first, Toyota reveals the world's greatest action hero.
Leonard Floyd right there to put him down. Oh, look out, it gets picked off. Picked off by Smith.
He is an aggressive young linebacker.
Fires picked off in the end zone. Adrian Amos with the pick.
Chevy has earned J.D. Power Dependability Awards for cars, trucks, and SUVs.
Soldier Field, walking distance over to Lake Michigan. There are the columns. Stayed in place when they redid Soldier Field a few years back. The Buzz 6-3 Chicago leading at halftime. Nick Foles 10 of 16, 143, and the 2 interceptions. He's been sacked 1 time. Trubisky 13 of 23, 105. So the numbers below average. 2 takeaways for the Bears, who had 36 to lead the league this season. 3 points off, and today the first day in postseason history, 2 games without a first half TD. The other would be Baltimore against the Chargers, which was 12-0 on 4 field goals at the half. Al Michaels with Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. Philadelphia trying to win a trip to New Orleans, and Chicago trying to win a trip to Los Angeles to meet the Rams next week. And off we go in the second half. Elliott sending it down toward Bellamy. Runs it back from the 2-yard line, and a nice tackle is made up at the 17-yard line there by DeAndre Hall. We go to Michelle.
Well, Matt Nagy told me that after Mitchell Trubisky visited the medical tent in the first half to have his right leg examined, he talked to his quarterback and said, hey, if you're going to play, you're going to go play. And he also told me his play calling would not be impacted by that at all. I asked why safety Eddie Jackson isn't playing, and Nagy said he's available to us if we need him. Now, Doug Peterson told me we had momentum but self-destructed. He wants to get Nick Foles back in rhythm, saying minus the 2 picks, he had a pretty good first half, Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. As Chicago takes the ball at the 17-yard line, they start on the ground here. Nothing doing for Jordan Howard. Loss of 1. He's second down and 11.
Well, the thing we came on the air talking about, this Eagles secondary really has played pretty darn well here in the first half. You have to take into consideration, though, that they had a couple of interception opportunities that they did not make. Trayvon LeBlanc right here on the slot, making the play of the first half, maybe the play of the playoffs so far. And then Avonte Maddox on the outside, almost with this one. Trey Sullivan had his hands on another. So it is the interceptions that were made versus the ones that were not.
Second and 11, and Trubisky a little razzle-dazzle here. This is Gabriel. And he'll pick up the first down and several more yards out to the 37-yard line. So Nagy, who loves to go to the back of the play, but very often does so here for a first down on a gain of 21.
And haven't you been wondering where this was? When we've come in here and done games before, we see this sort of misdirection stuff all the time. Watch the ball handling here by Trubisky, and you never hand it to a wide receiver. You learn that the hard way. Jordan Howard out front making the block, because they'd much rather catch it in the middle of the air than have it handed to them.
We were in here for that Rams game. The only touchdown in the game was caught by Bradley Scholl, a tackle. From the 37, little flip here. And this one goes to Adam Shaheen, going nowhere. That didn't fool anyone. Long is there for the stop. Second down.
Well, one of the guys that's had a big first half so far has been Nigel Bradham. There's Michael Bennett, had the penalty in the first half as well. But Nigel Bradham has really begun to sniff out a few of these gimmicky kind of plays here for the Chicago Bears. He's been on some of the read option plays, had a nice first half, comes out and makes that play there.
Third year with the Eagles, started his career with Buffalo. Second down and 10 from the 37. A little blocking here too, and Robinson able to break tackles and come close to picking up a first down. They'll spot him a little bit shy to make it 3rd and 1. Douglas makes the stop.
One of the unsung heroes on this football team is Josh Bellamy on the outside. Bellamy has gotten plenty of opportunities here lately, not because of his great receiving skills, but exactly this, his ability to make some of those blocks in space. So we're getting now back to what I think of as the Chicago Bears offense. Some of the quick screens, get it out of his hands, reverses, and it's been working.
Need one here on 3rd down. And Howard will pick it up.
Whoa.
And could have really been off to the races as he gets tripped up but he does move the chains. First down for the Bears.
Good block inside by Shaheen, but boy, this was the tackle right here that saved the Eagles. Malcolm Jenkins gets just enough, and you have to transition. He was down in there in man coverage against Shaheen. When he blocked, he had to get his eyes up in the backfield and got just enough of him. I still think that Howard could have a huge impact on this game in the second half. Been running really well.
He had a great December. A guy gained over 1,000 yards in each of his first 2 years. 9 and change this year, and Trubisky gets taken down in the backfield. Jernigan coming in. Timmy Jernigan along with Brandon Graham for the sack.
So here's exactly what we were talking about. You've got the center, Cody Whitehair, who's going to go and help against Fletcher Cox. And they're going to leave Timmy Jernigan then inside one-on-one against the rookie, James Daniels, right here. So you'll see him go this way and then leave the one-on-one on the outside.
Five-yard loss on the sack.
The Bears run the football a lot after they have a sack. 50%. That is one of the highest in the league.
This time they'll pass it. And that'll be taken to the 45-yard line by Ben Broniker. So they pick up about 9, making it 3rd down and 6 from the Eagle 45.
Well, here's where the Eagles have to win the football game. The strength of their team is in their pass rushers. You will often see on this part of the field here as well, Jim Schwartz is not afraid to call up a zero blitz, which basically means you're going to bring everybody at a free safety in the middle of the field, so it doesn't look like it this time.
And the Bears go 5 wide. They send 5 this time. Trubisky under pressure, and he will just fling that one into the night sky to make it 4th down.
Yeah, and the good strategy is what they've been doing here with Nigel Bradham. This spy has worked a couple of times. They leave him right in the middle of the field, knowing that Trubisky loves to run the football in these kinds of situations. Just shadow him everywhere he goes and force Trubisky to throw it away.
So opening drive of the half as you look at Sproles back to receive the kick from O'Donnell. Chicago had the ball over 5 minutes, ran 8 plays. And that kick angled toward the far sideline, and Sproles goes for it and makes the fair catch at the 17. 9:43 left in the 3rd. 6-3 Chicago. The career paths of the two coaches amazing. Doug Peterson was coaching high school, and Andy Reid said, "Come back to Philadelphia." Matt Nagy was in Philly as a training camp intern. Peterson then was elevated to the quarterbacks coach, and Nagy went to quality control. Peterson became the offensive coordinator. Nagy took over the quarterbacks. Doug became a head coach. Nagy became a head coach. Good buddies, good friends. Peterson was coaching high school in Louisiana for 4 years. Nagy was trying to sell homes in Pennsylvania. And here they are. Great buddies. Text a lot. And meeting head-to-head for the right to move on to the divisional round. Philadelphia, their first play of the second half. From the 17-yard line. Foles fires. That's caught up at the 21-yard line by Ertz. We go to Michelle.
Well, Matt Nagy told us he and Doug Peterson learned how to coach and how to be coached in those 7 seasons they spent together under Andy Reid's tutelage. And spending those long days together as assistants, as you said, Al, they became great friends. Their wives became friends. Even their kids became great friends. And they both told us they were really looking forward to this matchup.
Michelle, people looking for any fruit born by the Andy Reid tree these days. We'll see Andy next week as Kansas City takes on Indianapolis. 2nd and 5 from the 22-yard line. No gain there. It's funny because the thought was a couple of months ago, everybody wants an offensive head coach. Now teams are beginning to look at defensive guys like Vic Fangio.
Well, Vic Fangio has done an unbelievable job, but I'm with you. Everybody is looking for that next young offensive-minded coaches, and they're going pretty far down the pecking order to try and find one. But after what we've seen these young coaches do, Sean McVay, Matt Nagy, why not?
Yeah, I mean, that was the script in Chicago this year. They thought second-year quarterback Trubisky, first-year head coach. would be similar to Jared Goff in his second year and Sean McVay in his first season last year, getting the Rams to the playoffs. 3rd and 6. Foles throws a wobbler down the sideline, and Ertz can't hold on. And now a flag comes in from behind.
Yeah, it was going to be Adrian Amos with a personal foul. It was going to be incomplete, and it looked like a shot to the head here by Amos. They had their defensive play, and they were going to be off the field.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 38. Hit against a defenseless player. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And that will be the first penalty against the Bears in the game at a most inopportune time.
So hard for those guys. And Amos, if you've watched him play, you know that those big hits are a part of his game. And as he came over there and saw it, he knew he was going to try and break it up the old-fashioned way. I'm sure he's been playing that way since high school, but the rules are different now.
Not much going on with Khalil Mack tonight. They've done a good job taking him out of a good part of the action. Foles fires, and that is caught by Darren Sproles.
You know, isn't it interesting that you've got Jason Peters out there who has been blocking Mack for the most part tonight. He and Darren Sproles not a part of that Super Bowl run last year, and neither was Jordan Hicks, who's back. So those guys maybe even a little added incentive out here tonight.
2nd and 7. Just a 3-man rush, and taken down. Golden Tate had nowhere to go. Danny Trevathan started his career with Denver, 7th year in the league, makes the stop. They're down.
The most amazing thing about Jason Peters has always been his ability to move his feet for a huge man. He's been in the Pro Bowl almost every single year, but the focus on this game tonight was to take out Mack, and what they've learned is that Peters has been able to do it by himself, so they're not having to chip with their backs coming out of the backfield as they anticipated they might have to.
Great point. 3rd down and 5 from the 40. Foles to the sideline, and the catch is made at the 49-yard line by Golden Tate. Came over from the Lions, and that's a 1st down.
Yeah, so if you don't like Jason Peters, let's try and loop you inside here. It's exactly what they did with Mack. But Sayamalo was able to pick him up, and for Foles, that's more than a couple little fadeaway jumpers he's made. And there was a little bit of controversy about whether or not Golden Tate was helping this football team or not, but he's made a few big plays so far in this one.
And Foles a pretty good basketball player, so he knows about fadeaway jumpers.
They've got too many men on the field.
Right, so you got a flag, too many men on the field.
12 players on the defense while the snap was imminent. 5-yard penalty, remains 1st down.
And that moves the ball into Bear territory to the 46-yard line. It'll be 1st down and 5. Sherrick McManus is the last guy to come off, so he was probably number 12.
Yeah, so Vic Fangio is going crazy. He should have been off the field on this drive long ago.
6.5 left in the 3rd. Rapidly moving game. Bears by 3, and on a 1st down and 5. Foles hands the ball off to Sproles. Darren Sproles talking about maybe retiring, but I'm beginning to hear that maybe he's thinking about coming back one more year. And Michelle knows.
Well, you know, last season was going to be Sproles' last in the NFL, but then he landed on IR with that torn ACL and broken arm, and his daughter, Devin, said, you got to play just one more year. But I asked Sproles if this would indeed be his final season, and he said he's taking it a game at a time, and he told me he probably wouldn't make his decision until right before training camp out.
Yeah, Michelle, he also only played, you know, like 3/8 of a season. He missed 10 games this year. So for a 14th year guy, he's fresh. 2nd and 2 from the 43. Foles. And deep down the sideline and incomplete, but a flag comes in. Amukamara got tangled up with Jordan Matthews. First time that Matthews has been targeted tonight. And the penalty is going to be against Amukamara, and so the Bears, who had no penalties, at the start of this drive have picked up 2 huge ones.
It's amazing, isn't it? And
make it 3.
Really give Jordan Matthews a lot of credit here for staying with this ball and fighting his way through it. And you can see the hook of the arm and right at the last moment there, just a little too much contact keeping that right arm from the football.
So 3 penalties, the personal foul on Amos, the 12 men on the field, and this one a 33-yard penalty to put the ball at the 10-yard line and make it a first down and goal.
Prince Amukamara is the guy that loves that bump and run coverage on the outside. He does it about as much as anybody on football. On the other side, Kyle Fuller loves to play off. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen Alshon Jeffrey on Amukamara a little bit more in this game.
Smallwood is the running back. Falls to the end zone, caught, touchdown. That's Dallas Goedert, the number 2 tight end. So Matthews was targeted for the first time, and now Goedert targeted for the first time, and it pays off with a touchdown. The first touchdown of the night, 83 yards in 7 plays for the Eagles.
Bad drive for Amos here. He's going to get beat, but watch this move by Goedert inside. He's going to give it that hard outside move. Everything looks like it's going to the outside. Amos tries to grab him. He knew he was beaten. And the 2 tight end look for the Philadelphia Eagles. They've been doing it more and more the last month, and it is paying off.
Now began at their own 17. Jake Elliott tacks on point number 10. 5:20 left in the third. Bowles to the end zone to Goedert. Eagles lead 10-6 in Chicago. Best return for the ultimate competition, America's Got Talent, the champions, premiering tomorrow right here on NBC. Beautiful night in Chicago. The temperature has held steady the entire game at 38 degrees. We have a touchback here. And I can tell you that this wildcard playoff game is being brought to you by Universal Pictures Glass in theaters January the 18th. By Verizon, the best unlimited is on Verizon, America's most awarded network. By the Lexus UX, crafted to conquer the new frontier. By Charmin Ultra Soft. They're celebrating the return of the playoffs. Ice sculptures around the city. There it is, Wrigley Field, home of the Cubs, former home of the Bears for many, many, many years.
Eagle claws over there.
Yeah. Bears from the 25-yard line. Fires broken up at the 35-yard line. Crowd looking around for yellow, and they see none. Douglas covering Gabriel.
Maybe the most improved football player on this Eagles defense is Rasul Douglas. He had some issues early on when he started playing so much, but you can just literally watch his confidence grow. A little grab there, maybe, but playoff football, sometimes you get away with a tad more than you would otherwise. But it's really been an amazing story to watch this secondary grow over the past month when their experience level was next to zero.
Keep on the ground here with Jordan Howard. It'll be 3rd down and 8. What a job that Schwartz and the defensive staff has done. Secondary, 13 different starters. 14 guys in the secondary. Only the Packers had more on the back end. And Jim Schwartz, former head coach of the Lions, came in, did a great job last year with his team. And man, oh man, mixing and matching all over the place this season.
Yeah, and what's bizarre is that Malcolm Jenkins has played every play.
Every snap. 3rd and 8. And that's caught at the 30-yard line, but a great tackle is made there to save a first down by Cre'Von LeBlanc on Adam Shaheen, 4th down.
Well, Cre'Von LeBlanc got a break on the play before the half, but right here he's in the open field with a monster. He's got to get him on the ground or this is going to be a first down, and they have been doing this for the last month. It's really been amazing. It's almost like there's a bond that is formed between these young guys on the back end who really never anticipated playing in a playoff game of this magnitude when the season started.
LeBlanc 190 pounds. Shaheen 270. Kick will bound out of bounds at the 17-yard line. 3:48 left in the 3rd. Philadelphia 10, Chicago 6.
Did that just happen?
Go Illinois. Bear down on this Sunday night in the east at every Bears game. Mike Ditka lives. Sort of.
Glad Mike's doing well, too.
Yeah, he is. From the 17-yard line, Foles will start here. Little dump off to Ertz, close to a first down. Big play at the end of the first half, if you tuned in late, was a supposed incompletion here. Miller, and then you've got Miller, which we thought was going to be overturned, but there was no clear recovery on the play. And we were talking to Terry McCauley earlier. We're going to bring Terry in just a second. We'll bring him in. So, Terry, we've heard from New York, and what's the deal?
Well, after some extensive research into the deepest, darkest bowels of the instant replay casebook, there's a statement that says if there's no clear recovery, then you can't change it to a catch. Doesn't seem logical, but that is the rule in this case.
That is the deepest, darkest bowels. It's page 407, article 31, subparagraph 70, with 9 asterisks. Good God. Anyway, that's a first down here as Sproles makes the catch.
Yeah, if you've ever tried to go through that case,
oh, please.
it's a little bit like the IRS code or something. But we're starting to see this Eagles offense now that is getting into what they want to do, which is get the ball out of Nick Foles' hand quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if Darren Sproles doesn't start playing a little bigger role here in the second half.
On the 38-yard line, keep it on the ground here. Sproles working his way up to the 41-yard line. Got a good little thing going out of that backfield as Sproles now carrying 9 times. Small with 6. Adams has only been used very sparingly. He's only carried the ball 1 time.
You know, Nick Foles, we talked to him quite a bit about how he handles nerves in big situations, and basically he told the story that he just says whatever he honestly is feeling to his wife. They discuss it, he journals it, and he figures out a way to get it out of his mind. It was really a very interesting conversation.
Second down and 8, and Foles down the sideline, and it's incomplete. Intended there for Jeffrey. Prince Amukamara covering on the play. It'll be 3rd and 8.
I've been waiting to see that jump ball the entire game, but Jeffrey didn't jump this time. You get bump and run coverage on the outside with Amukamara, and Jeffrey is one of the best contested ball receivers. Now you could argue maybe Amukamara had a little arm wrapped around him and he couldn't jump, but here we go again.
Yeah,
How physical can you be?
Yeah, third down passing tremendous last year in the playoffs. 5 of 5 today with 3 first downs. Needs 8 yards here to convert.
They come right back to Jeffrey.
Send an extra man, fires over the middle, and it's incomplete. Amos covering on the play, intended for Golden Tate. That'll make it 4th down.
I might have taken that shot again to Jeffrey out there because they ran the one-word coverage inside. So instead of splitting the safeties to help the corner, drop them down. And I don't think that when Nick Foles goes back and looks at that tape, he's going to be happy with that read. He had Jeffrey.
Cameron Johnston. Send it down to Tariq Cohen. He calls for a fair catch. Short kick. Collects it at the 22-yard line. A minute and a half left in the third with the Eagles up by 4. Saturday, we will get it started right here on NBC. Indianapolis against Kansas City. Andrew Luck, red hot. Patrick Mahomes might be the league's MVP before it's all said and done. Coverage starts at 3 Eastern time. The game begins at 4:35. Most TD passes in the NFL, 89. The 2 of them combined regular season TD passes most in a postseason game in NFL history. I don't have to tell you how hot the Colts are right now. Chiefs, the #1 seed in the AFC. We start next Saturday. The pass here is to Allen Robinson. And that's complete for a first down and a gain of 12 up to the 34-yard line.
And the Eagles continue what they've been doing all season long, which is really not blitzing. They blitz only 18% of the time in the regular season. Really depend on that front 4 to get pressure. They've only blitzed twice so far here tonight.
Coming up to the final minute of the third quarter. Again, just 4. Trubisky has a man open. It's It's Robinson. He's inside the 30, and Allen Robinson takes the ball to the 21-yard line. Sullivan makes the tackle, and Robinson, who was hurt last week, been in and out of the lineup, but he is clearly their #1 guy. That's a gain of 45 and his 7th catch of the game.
Monte Maddox got greedy here. He thought he was going to jump this slant for the game-ending interception and just got burned on the play. Young players sometimes, when they get a little too confident, can be taken advantage of. Good play call that time on the part of Nagy.
Robinson, one of the great free agent pickups by Ryan Pace, the general manager, reconstructing the receiving core. What a difference that has made. From the 21, Trubisky fires, and that is taken in by Robinson, but he's out of bounds. Hold it in with 9 seconds, but steps on the chalk.
Yep. He's out, and I think they blew that coverage right there because Maddox came up, and I don't know if you would have seen Robinson just keep going deep. There was nobody back there, so really, Eagles got away with one there too.
Upside down, you can read BU, which Matt Nagy has on his card for every game. Don't be somebody else. Call them the way you see them. 2nd down and 10. Pulled in by Cohen, and that's going to take us to the end of the quarter as he gets to the 20-yard line. It will be 3rd and 9 when play resumes. End of 3 at Soldier Field. Philadelphia 10, Chicago 6. This wildcard playoff game continues after these messages. Not easy to repeat as Super Bowl champs. The Packers did it. They won the first 2 Super Bowls. Dolphins had that perfect season. They won it back-to-back. Steelers did it twice in the 70s, winning 4 Super Bowls in all. 49ers late 80s, Cowboys 92 and 3, Broncos 97 and 98 with Shanahan and Elway, and the Patriots the last to do it. So it's been 14 years since teams gone back-to-back, which is what Peterson and the Eagles are trying to do. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle DeFoya start the 4th in a 4-point game, 3rd down and 9 for the Bears at the Eagle 20-yard line. Trubisky's going to step up. He's going to take off, but he will be stopped at the 15-yard line. So it's 4th down and 4. Jenkins is there, and they will send Parkey and company out to attempt the field goal.
Take a look at the coverage here. We'll go across the board. First on the outside with Robinson. Maybe a little opportunity to get one in there. There's Gabriel on the other side underneath the coverage. But the one thing that we have seen this Eagles team do all season long, yes, they've given up a lot of points, a lot of yards, all that stuff, but on 3rd down and red zone, they've been really good all year.
34-yard attempt for Parkey. Put it down. And folks, we have a 1-point game with 14-13 left in regulation. NFC playoff bracket last night, Dallas won. So if Philadelphia wins this game, they would go to New Orleans. Otherwise, Dallas goes to New Orleans. And on the bottom side, you see Dallas or Chicago against the Rams. And that is if Chicago wins this game. Otherwise, the Cowboys will go. AFC, meanwhile, we've got Indianapolis, Kansas City, which we have on NBC to start the divisional weekend next Saturday at 4:35 Eastern time. Chargers win in Baltimore today, so they will go home and then make another round trip coast to coast, go to Foxborough at 1:05 on CBS next Saturday.
I think Andy Reid's going, I'm the #1 seed again here, and I've got a team that's won 10 out of 11 coming in here for the opening round.
Right.
What about my luck?
What about the Chargers? What about the Chargers saying, wait a minute, we won 12 games, we have to go to Baltimore.
Yeah.
Hold off at the end, go back home, go to Foxborough. And somehow if they win that and Indianapolis wins, they would, as the #5 seed, host the AFC Championship game. From the 5-yard line, this is Boston Scott. And he'll be brought down up at the 26-yard line.
Well, there he is, Khalil Mack. We haven't said his name a whole lot tonight, but since 2015, this guy has absolutely dominated. 2nd in sacks during that period of time, 39 quarterback hits, 324 total pressures is the most in the NFL. 12.5 sacks this year, and they really need that sort of magical play that we saw out of him early in the year. Remember against Green Bay? He was a force in that game. They need him right now.
Right after they signed him. Barely any training camp. He's had 3 tackles tonight. That's it. Shoot it out to Jeffrey. He's surrounded by a whole bunch of Bears. Leonard Floyd amongst them. Short gain, 2nd down and 9.
Well, this is the sort of athleticism you can see out of Mack, because not only is he going to be there with a presence to rush the passer if needed, now you throw the quick screen and he beats him to the point, forces it back inside to all the help. So great athlete going against a great athlete on the other side as well in Jason Peters.
Keep it on the ground on 2nd and 9. Smallwood. A bit of running there out to the 33-yard line. Trevathan makes the stop, setting up a 3rd down and 3.
Yeah, that was Dallas Goedert who caught the touchdown pass. He was over there slugging it out. Probably the biggest surprise, Al, I think, for this Eagles team has been the blocking ability of Dallas Goedert. They didn't see that one coming. But now all things on the table, and this is one that Darren Sproles is built for. 3rd down and short. We saw him in New Orleans. We've seen him everywhere. So dynamic with one quick move and getting open.
And there he is flanking Foles on a 3rd and 3 as they take the play clock all the way down. He juggles it, keeps his balance, holds onto the ball, but is stopped a yard short of the 1st down. Little mistiming on the handoff there, and it's 4th down.
Tried to get this handoff, couldn't quite. You bobble at one time, and everything is just thrown off at that point. So sometimes better to be lucky than good. The Bears catch a break right there.
Cohen is back. Johnston, this will be his 4th punt of the night, averaging 45 per boot. And he handles it away from Cohen, who makes the fair catch at the 21-yard line. Exactly 12 minutes left in regulation. 10-9. That's our thing. By Volkswagen, don't just get an SUV, get an SUVW. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. So look at the results this weekend. Colts stay smoking hot. Seahawks, Cowboys, a wild one. Chargers, Ravens, crazy as the Ravens almost mounted an off-the-charts comeback. And this wraps up the wild card weekend. 1-point game. 10-9 Philadelphia. Drive starts from the 20. Gabriel takes the handoff. Nowhere to run. Stopped for a loss of 1 by Jordan Hicks. 2nd and 11.
Boy, they have really missed having Jordan Hicks in there coming back from injury. And you're just going to see he sees this coming all the way and just beats one of the speediest guys on the field in Gabriel to the point. But that sort of speed, athleticism, and ability to make those calls, he's not playing as much as he typically would be. He's been in and out of the lineup here, but they're slowly working him back in, and you got to think he's going to be a bigger factor as the playoffs go along.
They empty the backfield to 5 wide in the 2nd and 11. Trubisky throws into the ground, intended for Gabriel. Jenkins with the perfect coverage. 3rd down and 11. All things considered for Trubisky, pretty good protection by that Bears offensive front, doing a good job against that potent Eagle front 4. Only 1 sack, 6 hits.
The key for Trubisky is when he gets the ball out of his hands. So 2.5 seconds or less going into this drive. I didn't count that one. 15 for 19, 150 yards. 2.6 seconds or more, 5 for 14 for 37 yards. So play with tempo, get it out of your hands, and this offense clicks.
Leads 11 here. Good protection again. Fires into traffic. Caught at the 37-yard line. Taylor Gabriel right on the money. Corey Graham with a stop and a big 3rd and 11 completion.
Let's take a look. This is nice protection up front by the Chicago Bears. They are going to give Trubisky enough time for this route to work down the field. Overreaction in the zone. And that's what it takes when you're 3rd and long. You need that added second in order to get that ball down the field.
the ground. That's the hole there, but stopped after he bursted through by Jordan Hicks was Jordan Howard. Fell into a gain of 5, 2nd and 5.
Well, having Kyle Long back in the lineup has really been a benefit. Not only is he stout enough to hold up against these big pass rushers, Fletcher Cox and Timmy Jernigan, he can also get some movement inside in the running game. That's exactly what he did there. That's the reason I kind of keep thinking that before this game's over, Jordan Howard is going to be a factor if they can stay with it a little bit.
He's only carried 9 times tonight for 37 yards. So averaging 4 per tote. Fake it to him. And then Trubisky rifles one down the sideline, and open and making the catch is Josh Bellamy. And had he stayed on his feet, he would have scored. But he had to go to the ground to secure it. But a big gain of 34 yards, and the Bears are in business.
Now they're faking the quick screen to the outside, and the guy who typically blocks this time takes off. And they just aren't prepared for it. Once again, Maddox saw the inside guy, but you throw enough of those screens outside, there's a good shoulder pump fake, and you end up with another big play down the field.
Bellamy, first catch of the night from the 22-yard line now. Trubisky stepping up, fires down the sideline. Robinson makes the catch, but a flag is down. For the moment, it's ruled a touchdown, but there's a flag down. The flag is on the far side at the 12-yard line.
Pass interference, defense number 29. This penalty has been declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Robinson, 8th catch of the night for the score.
The double moves are just killing Maddox here, and they are taking full advantage of this young cornerback. He's trying to flip his head around on the first move, and time after time after time, you've seen Matt Nagy able to take advantage.
So now a 2-point attempt will come here to try to make it 7 points. Little exotic thing here. You got Mack in the game. You got Soul in the game, who caught the only touchdown pass in the Rams-Bears game in December. So Matt Nagy, again, going to the back of the playbook, loves to do on this 2-point attempt.
Yeah, and typically what he does here is he shows you a little eye candy. In other words, he'll probably end up using Khalil Mack as a distraction. Let's make sure he gets his feet in. Yeah, no question. So keep an eye here, and typically they throw the football out of this formation. 7 out of 8, I believe, was the number where they pass it when they bring a defensive player into the game.
Move it right between the hash marks here. So 79 reports eligible. Crowd knows what that means. That's Bradley Soul.
Back in the backfield.
Yeah, you got Mack there. Now Mack will reposition himself.
There's the shift.
And pull in motion quickly. And a little toss to Gabriel. And Gabriel tries to dive into the end zone. The ball is loose, but it is no good. And the rest of the play doesn't count. Play is over.
Is unsuccessful.
Well, they don't get the 2, but they do get the touchdown, and Chicago has the lead 15-10 with 9:04 left. We'll start it here on NBC, Indianapolis and Kansas City, then Dallas or Chicago with the Rams on Fox. Chargers on Sunday at New England on CBS with Jim and Tony, and either Dallas or Philly at New Orleans with Joe and Troy. I'm already making assignments. Joe and Troy may be in LA. I don't know. Now Freddie Cadelli tells me they are. All right. So much for me making the assignments, huh?
Same at Bel Air.
At the goal line, you got Boston Scott. And he gets wrapped up back at the 14-yard line.
All right, let's take a look at our next-gen stats powered by our friends at AWS. And Next Gen does a great job of this. who was on the field, or in this case, how many were on the field. The Dallas Goedert touchdown, the Bears only had 10 men on the field, and the Eagles took full advantage.
Ain't like soccer. 3 ticks under 9 minutes to go. Doug Peterson, the play caller. See what he sends in here. Oh, baby, that may have been jostled.
Oh, yeah.
His arm got hit. Khalil Mack came in. Lucky that one wasn't picked off. 2nd down and 10.
Well, you can slow him down, but you can't stop him forever. And that time, an inside move on the part of Mack. Watch him jump inside of Jason Peters here and get this hit. And really, Foles is lucky that one wasn't picked off. Number 1 defense. Here you go. Here's your time.
2nd and 10. Crowd roaring at Soldier Field. Only a 2-man rush that time, and 9 back, and that's broken up. Sherrick McManus broke it up. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
It's interesting. Here you have Khalil Mack, who's one of the best pass rushers in football, and yet he has another job. This time he's going this way to distract and disrupt Golden Tate, who was the intended receiver, and it gave McManus just enough time to get there.
Sent only 2 in that time. It's 3rd down and 10. Three-man rush. Foles fires, and that is caught up at the 27-yard line by Aguilar. Nelson Aguilar pulls it in. A little slow to get up. Getting up right now, and for Aguilar, that is catch number 2.
Yeah, this was a great job by Nick Foles here. First of all, understanding this is just a 3-man rush, so he had time to let this route develop down the field. Just eyeballing the whole thing, and I'll tell you, Nelson Aguilar's had a big stretch here over the past 3 or 4 games. Has really helped the Eagles in some key situations.
And the 27 to the ground. Tougher, supposed to maintain his balance all the way through. Akeem Hicks knocks him down under 8 minutes to play.
2 Pro Bowlers going neck and neck here. You got Hicks, you got Brooks. You had Kelsey with a nice block down the field, but they just could not get away from Hicks. It seems like every time there's a hole opening up, number 96 is filling it.
2nd and 8, halfway through the 4th quarter. Rolling right, throwing left, and turning around, and his pass is incomplete. And there is no flag. Tate looking for one. Roquan Smith, the linebacker, all the way back there. And Tate shaken up earlier and shaken up right now. Will have to come out for at least 1 play. 3rd down.
Yeah, Roquan Smith not only smart, but he can fly. Watch him. This is a total misdirection. Foles going to roll to his right, throw it all the way back, and Smith just hit the jets. One of the fastest linebackers coming out in some time, and it paid off for him there.
Number 1 draft choice out of Georgia, the last guy to sign a contract. Came into camp just before the beginning of the season. Vic Fangio's defense. 3rd down and 8. Play clock at 2. Blitz coming. And the pass is too high and incomplete. Intended for Goddard. 4th down. Bush covering on the play. Eagles punt.
Haven't done it often, but that time they brought all 3 and dropped 1 out in the middle. But the appearance of pressure made Nick Foles throw that just a little bit sooner. Don't use it all the time, but when they do, effective. That was a big miss.
Cohen back, hopeful of a return. Johnson has been sending every punt tonight toward the sideline. But this one's down the middle. However, it's Johnson, fair catch called for and made at the 26-yard line. 7:02 left in the fourth. Bears by 5 at home. Coming up right after the game from Beverly Hills, right here on NBC. Roger Goodell is here, the commissioner, attending this one tonight. Heck of a game. 15-10 Chicago as the Bears have the ball at their own 26-yard line. Jordan Howard is the back, and he'll get stuffed in the backfield. Tackle for loss there. Branham all over the place tonight. In on that one as well. It'll be second down and long.
Yeah, speaking of long, Kyle Long that time took a little too long trying to get off the double team to get to Branham. Obviously, right now, you're in one of those situations where the Eagles are anticipating you're going to try and run the football. Now it's really how much do you trust Trubisky right here. He's had a phenomenal night. I think probably exceeded all expectations so far, but now we are down to that moment. Can he complete a few of these passes and keep these drives alive?
Going for 263 with no turnovers. And he gets sacked there. Look, for a moment he was able to avoid it, but then Michael Bennett finishes him off, and that's going to set up a third down and 20.
Yeah, and when you get into those second and longs after you stuff a run, then you get a right to rush the passer, and this time it just collapsed from all angles. There was nowhere to go, and I think for Mitch Trubisky right there, the right decision. And I cannot imagine they're going to do anything too elaborate here. You've got the #1 defense in football. You're going to give them a chance to win the football game.
Third down and 19. And 3 after Trubisky. Nearly gets sacked again, rolling away, throws over the middle, caught by Cohen. And he'll get chased by Jenkins and forced out of bounds. And the punt group will come in on a 4th down and 11.
So the Eagles defense answered, and they came up with the play that they had to. And it's so interesting, Al, as we head down the stretch with this thing, that Nick Foles and Matt Nagy were together in Kansas City, and it was Nagy to a large degree that sort of talked Foles back into falling in love with football. And here he is with a chance to break his heart after all those years and all those pep talks. And here he is staring him right in the eyeball.
See if Foles can take him on that magic carpet ride again. Donald's kick is a very short kick. It will go out of bounds at around the 40-yard line. They'll mark it at the 40-yard line. So a very short, poor kick for 36 yards. The night before Super Bowl 53, NFL's brightest stars come together to salute the best players, plays, and moments from the season. Tune into NFL Honors February the 2nd, 9 Eastern Time on CBS. 39 degrees, up a degree since the start of the game. We look at Chicago, the beautiful skyline, shore of Lake Michigan, and here comes Foles, and we're talking about, Nagy and Peterson and what they meant. I mentioned it before. The greatest parting gift Andy Reid ever gave to Philadelphia was talking this guy out of retiring.
He had the brilliant year here, 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He had the unbelievable Super Bowl run. He's had some dark moments, but he's always seemed to find a way, hasn't he? Or at least in this stretch, in these moments, to make these kinds of plays.
Trying to find one in the final 4:45. Fires that one. That's caught on the Bears side of the field. Alshon Jeffrey, that big body, gets up there and holds that one in for a gain of 15.
Now, Foles was talking to us about the comfort level he had with Jeffrey. He said, I'm a basketball player. He's a basketball player. We kind of find this way to get the ball up high. He uses that big body. And, of course, Jeffrey was right here in Chicago. So this means a lot to him as well to come back here. He had some brilliant years in Chicago.
First 5 seasons for him in a Bears uniform. 5-point game. First down at the 45-yard line. And Foles will get jostled, and that pass is incomplete. And Sherrick McManus coming in from the secondary to bust up that play. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, they have not blitzed the slot a lot, and that's something that Fangio likes, but you'll see these inside to give him a straight line coming off the slot. They always try and reduce that corner, as they say. Sproles was there, but still McManus able to get his hands on it.
2nd and 10. Three receivers set to the left in a bunch. Tries to come back the other way. Instead goes to the tight end. He breaks a tackle and picks up a huge first down to the 34-yard line. Tackled there by Deon Bush.
Well, here was their A play, Al. You're going to fake the screen to the left, fake the screen to the right, release the tight end late. Fake it that way, and there you go with Goddard right down Broad Street there. And that run was something special. Remember that run as this game goes along.
From the 35-yard line. 3:20 on the clock. It's caught on the outside. Aguilar, he breaks a tackle and turns no gain into a gain of about 8. Breaks away from Deon Bush and stopping the clock with 3:13.
Well, the Eagles have not been known for their yak this year. The yards after the catch, but they are yakking it up so far on this drive. It has been the ability to force some missed tackles against the #1 defense that's winning the day so far here.
2nd and 2 from the 27-yard line. Holds the Niners thrown for 240 yards. That shoulder shake pass, what a catch, great catch by Ertz over the middle for another first down to the 14-yard line goes Zach Ertz.
This is a little what the Eagles did last year. They just kept playing above the rim. I hate to keep using that frame or that phrase, but watch Roquan Smith here. He's right underneath it, and so the only spot that Foles really had was to throw it above his head, and these guys keep coming down with it.
Ertz is 6'5". Two and a half on the clock. Smallwood wrestled to the turf by Akeem Hicks. That'll make it 2nd down and 9.
Al, if the Bears win this game, it'll be the ability of Akeem Hicks and this defense to stop the run. The Eagles never have been able to run the ball effectively in this game. Play action, not a big part of it, but now they have to make a stop on the back end. Remember, they have backups in the football game with Deon Bush and Sherrick McManus.
Eagles content to let the clock run down to the 2-minute warning. When we come back, it'll be 2nd down and 9. 2 minutes to go. Who moves on? Who goes home? Bears by 5. Beautiful aerial shots tonight. The coverage being brought to you by Geico. Electric. Soldier Field. 2 minutes to go. 2nd down and 9. Eagles go 5 wide here. Move Ertz into the near slot.
Watch out for those seams and those big receivers in there.
3-man rush. Pass is incomplete at the goal line. Aguilar there. Tight coverage on the play. 3rd down and 9.
They love those routes. That time they tried to clear Ertz out of the way so they could get it into Aguilar right down that seam. Going to come in right there, but it was Ertz on the inside, so they had the position, just couldn't make the play.
Thirteen-yard line. Look at this formation that they come up in initially. Send Jeffrey to the left. Look his way. Makes the catch. Gets the first down. 1st and goal. So a 3rd down and 9. In a situation where you assume they would go for it on 4th down anyway. You don't have to worry about that right now.
And I think the Bears have to start working their timeouts here as well.
It's very interesting on both sides of the ball. Eagles content to let that clock run. The Bears have all 3 timeouts.
Because
they're going to let it run down too.
Yeah, for the Eagles, I mean, either way, right here, I mean, they're either going to score or not score, but the Bears have to preserve coming back the other way.
Don't call a timeout here. Take a ton of time off the clock. Snap it at 4. Give the ball on the ground to Sproles. And he gets stopped. And now the Bears take a timeout. 2nd down and goal. So they have 2 left with 70 seconds left.
Khalil Mack has shown up here late in the second half, and this is one of those read options. You have to be a little careful that Foles doesn't pull that thing out on you and take off around the end. Boy, oh boy, what a moment for these two franchises. For the Chicago Bears, it has been so long. This is a franchise so proud. They've been in so many huge football games, won championships, and here they are defending their goal line with the #1 defense in football against the world champs.
Being living up to the hype with 1:10, 2nd down and goal. Sproles next to Foles.
Eagles still haven't been able to run it, though.
Sproles this time. Still can't. Eddie Goldman is there. Bears will take another timeout. 3rd down and goal. Obviously in a situation where Philadelphia has 2 plays. 3rd and goal.
Crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy.
Just crazy. Eddie Goldman inside has been making some plays here. We all talk about Hicks, but it is Goldman, who many consider to be one of the unsung heroes on this defense. He just sort of grinds it out inside.
You think she's seen a few classic games in her lifetime? And Jeffrey Lurie, the reigning champions. Tina's right there, Tina Lurie. Nervous time. 3rd and goal. Sproles in the backfield again. The 3 receivers are set to the left. Now they bring Jeffrey to the right side. And Foles will throw, and that will be at the goal line incomplete. Intended for Jeffrey. You've got Kyle Fuller breaking it up with 1:01. Stops the clock, and it comes down to the 4th down play here.
How good has Kyle Fuller been? I think at this point you've got a couple of superstars on your team, and you're going to get them the football. You're either going to go to Darren Sproles here, you're going to Jeffrey, or you're going to Zach Ertz. Those are your playmakers. Those are the guys that have gotten you here. And they're going to take a timeout to think about it.
Well, that's an interesting timeout here because, you know, the clock was stopped, and had Chicago stopped them on the 4th down play, and Philadelphia would have taken over at their own 1-yard line, Chicago could have had all 3 timeouts to force a punt. So that's what I'm thinking. And that's a very, well, obviously it's a huge play. I mean, the game probably comes down to this in all likelihood. But still, do you take, if you're Philadelphia, do you take that time out here?
Well, especially with them backed up like that, because you couldn't do anything with any risk whatsoever. And you would have had an opportunity to come back and at least Hail Mary a few.
3 for 3 on 4th down conversions. The Phillies special in the Super Bowl.
Whatever their best 2-point conversion play is, you're going to see right now.
Right. And the second best on the 2-point conversion to follow. 4th and goal. Foles sidearms it, and it will be caught for the touchdown by Golden Tate. He slings it in there. Tate beats McManus, and the Philadelphia Eagles have taken the lead, and they'll go for 2.
So much for the conversation about was the trade worth it. Golden Tate, elite quickness, the guy who forces more missed tackles than any receiver in football, here uses that quickness, clutch catch, everything on the line. The trade is officially worth it. And he was working against Sherrick McManus, who had to replace the injured Bryce Callahan, and Doug Peterson waves the magic wand one more time. Still a long way from over here.
56 seconds. Line up to go for 2. And Philadelphia takes another timeout here to discuss this. Well,
it's crazy.
I mean, the Nick Foles story last year was off the charts, over the moon, whatever you want to call it. Is he going to do this again?
I don't know. You know, I mean, forget the fact that he had to win 3 straight and knock off the Rams in L.A. to get to this point. Now here he comes back again. Had to sort of work that ball around Leonard Floyd. Yeah, he had to drop that one down 3/4, didn't he, just to get the pass out of there.
You got Wentz on the sideline with Tate.
Just amazing. The most unassuming guy you will ever meet. And he just keeps finding a way in the most nerve-wracking of times to make these plays.
Told us many times, I just want to stay in the moment, stay in the present. Don't go back, don't go forward.
Got to be careful here. No pick six.
Yeah, now you got the Philly special lineup here, but you've got Smallwood who takes the snap. And Smallwood cannot get in, even though Foles puts both arms in the air.
Yep. So it looked like he got over the top. Yep. And he's sure he did his Tom Brady impersonation here.
The point is unsuccessful.
Of course, this is automatically reviewed.
Even the front edge of the line. Oh, boy.
You tell me. All right, Terry, we'll bring in one more time.
All right, Al. Is it clear and obvious that the front of the ball breaks the point of the goal line?
Will go under
it's
review.
Really close. From these shots we've seen so far, I don't see enough to reverse.
How about that last little reach, that last little moment?
It gets it right there. Does it? Is it clear and obvious it breaks the plane? I don't think it is. I think this has got to stand.
It is to every Eagles fan. Wow.
And it is significant because obviously if it's good, it's a 3-point game and a field goal would tie it. If it's not good, Philadelphia would lose the game on a Chicago field goal.
You know, all I could think of was if this thing ends up being called a fumble, right? You get a chance to return that thing.
Right.
And you're back behind. So, not behind, but obviously that's a completely different situation.
We've already been to the back of the case book and all that stuff, right?
I'm not going there again.
Nope.
Oh, boy, is that close. They couldn't have changed that one no matter what, could they?
No. No, this is a stands no matter what they ruled on the field.
Well, from that angle.
Oh, baby.
Whoa, Nelly, as Keith Jackson would be wont to say at this point. So Trubisky will bide his time until we see what the call is here. He'll have 56 seconds. He will have 1 timeout to try to get into at least field goal range.
Well, 2 good friends going at it here. Terry, are they still examining this play?
They are,
yep.
and it seems to me you have everything in front of you that you need to make a decision.
After review, the ruling on the field of the extra point being unsuccessful is confirmed. It is, the ruling stands, short of the goal line and a fumble.
Okay, so Chicago now tries to get into field goal range for what would likely be a game winner. And Tariq Cohen is back to receive the kick as he stands at the goal line. Philadelphia wins. It is off to meet the Saints next week. If Chicago wins, they have a date at the Coliseum with the Rams. Cohen had only 2 kickoff returns this season. He was their primary guy last season with 26. And he'll have the opportunity to do something with this one from the 7-yard line. Tariq Cohen gets spun around, stays on his feet, and finally gets thrust out of bounds by Sullivan. So elusive, so dangerous. Big-time run back.
And I'm sure that they did not intend to leave this ball hanging to Cohen. Watch this run back. Let's break that tackle. Let's spin out. Let's re-accelerate it. 5'6", playing in the National Football League. and give my team a chance to win this game.
35-yard return. Deshaun Hall couldn't make the tackle. About 20 yards farther back, so they're at the 42-yard line.
And now you get that pass rush group in there. You have Michael Bennett over your guards, and this is when you have to be willing to take a few chances rushing this passer.
Trubisky from the 42, and that pass is broken up, intended for Gabriel. And let's check in with Michelle.
Well, I spoke with Cody Parkey before the game. He told me his range in this direction is 53 yards, and his long in the pregame in this direction was 53. Our SNF Kicks technology measured one that would have been good from 54, so that is the range. This is also the direction and the end zone that gave the kickers the least amount of trouble in the pregame, guys.
All right, Michelle, they'd have to get to about the 35-yard line to set up the 53-yarder on pretty much a windless night. Second down and 10. Trubisky hangs in the pocket, throws, and it's going to be caught by Allen Robinson. Tremendous night for him. And that puts them in field goal range. And the Bears will take a timeout.
Al, this is such a good throw. It is such a good throw. He's running the corner route. He has a corner underneath him. And if Trubisky doesn't throw this as a back shoulder, it's likely going to get picked up here, and then watch where Trubisky puts this ball. You don't think of back shoulders as being inside, but that's exactly where he threw it, and that was phenomenal. That was as good as the one he had in the first half. And for Avonte Maddox, one slight finger reach away again.
Robinson with his 9th catch. So if Parkey's range is 53 and they don't gain another yard, you're looking at a 51-yard game-winning field goal. Chicago now out of timeouts.
No sacks, no penalties.
Trubisky's throwing for 295 tonight.
Here comes the blitz. I'm bringing everybody.
Away they go. Trubisky fires, and that'll be pulled in at the 26-yard line by Robinson. He's going to stay in bounds, so the clock keeps running down, but they're within Parkey's range here. Trubisky trying to get to the line. What does he want to do? Does he want to spike it here? They've already taken a bunch of time off, and he spikes it. So now you've got a 3rd down and 2 with 15 seconds. Well. Cody Parkey, mentioned before, hit the uprights 4 times earlier this season. 10 missed kicks this season, tied for the second most in the NFL. 7 field goals, 3-point after touchdowns. And it's 3rd and 2.
Boy, you got to be careful with this. No timeouts. You cannot fumble the snap. You can't take this sack.
Trubisky's going to throw it, and he's going to throw it into the end zone. So now it's 4th down with 10 seconds. And here comes Parkey. Man, oh man, oh man. How do you think his EKG would look about now?
He's going to have a couple opportunities to think about it, I would think.
The Eagles have 1 timeout if they want to use it. They've spotted at the 33. It's a windless night at Soldier Field. 43-yard attempt. We'll see if the Eagles want to take that timeout.
By the former Eagle.
Yes. And they do take the timeout. And that kick would have won the game, but it doesn't matter.
Philadelphia, their 3rd and final timeout of the half.
Wow. There's Doug Peterson knowing, giving that timeout just before the snap, which he gets. You got Patrick O'Donnell to hold it. You got Patrick Scales to snap it, and Parkey to try to win it. Nobody has gone to the parking lot.
Amazing game.
Need I tell you?
Yeah, an amazing game. It really is. You have to give Nick Foles and Mitch Trubisky credit for what they've been able to do in the most clutch of all situations. And here it comes down one more time to a kicker. after all the battle that's been waged out here tonight.
As it so often does. 43-yard attempt from the right hash mark. And, oh, he hits the upright again. That's impossible. And the Eagles run out into the field, but there's still 5 seconds. So they've got to get back. He does it again.
Will be brought back to the spot of the kick. It will be Philadelphia's
Did this hit
ball.
the upright and the crossbar?
Bottom line, it doesn't go through. Upright. Yeah, it looks like it bounced off the crossbar as well.
Oh my goodness. The Bears season's going to end on a double doink. One. Unbelievable. How many times can they hit the upright?
5 in the stadium and 1 last week. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. Upright. Crossbar.
Oh, it just depended on which side of the football hit the crossbar, whether it would bounce. Oh my goodness.
What a wild card weekend. The Philadelphia Eagles going to the Elite 8 on their way to the Big Easy. And the Dallas Cowboys make their plans to go to Los Angeles. And that's the way it ends. The Philadelphia Eagles, as I mentioned at the top of the show, given last rites after week 14. Down the stretch they come, win the last 3, get some help from the Bears to beat Minnesota, and on their way to the round of 8. And the Bears season ends like this, and what a year it was. And every game Chicago was in this year either went down to the end. They lost every game, 2 in overtime, 1 on the last play of the game at the 1-yard line, another in Green Bay blowing a big lead. They won 12, and it ends like this with a gasp.
I don't think I've ever been in a stadium where everybody is in this state of disbelief that it would come down to that, but everybody had to be thinking about
of course.
All the times that they had hit the upright this year, that their season would end hitting the upright again.
Well, there it was. Number 1. Bears fans can look away. It's almost like it was magnetized. 4 in 1 game last week at Minnesota, and tonight.
The odds of that have to be astronomical.
Let's go to Michelle.
Well, I've got the 2 guys of the hour. Nick Foles, first of all, as you're watching that field goal attempt, what is going through your mind?
I mean, obviously, we're just hoping for a miss. You know, this was a hard-fought game. I mean, that's an amazing team we just played against, and it came down to the wire. And you know, they have a bright future.
Well, apparently you guys do too. And there was a point in this season when people might not have thought that was the case. 4th straight win. You guys continue to be underdogs. But what is going on with this team? What is working?
I think the big thing is, you know, we saw some adversity tonight in the first half. I had a couple turnovers. I think the big thing is, like, no one loses faith. No one stops believing. Everyone just keeps talking, keeps believing in one another. And we just rallied. Our defense really kept us in this game. It was a hard-fought defensive battle tonight, but we were able to come up big at the end.
And I know you came in a little dinged up with the chest. How's it feeling?
It's good. It's good. It feels better with the win.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, let's turn to Golden Tate. And, yeah, what a huge play to ice this thing, essentially, to put up the winning points. You know, people had doubted you, and they made it public this week that was this trade from Detroit worth it? How much of that talk motivated you?
You know, I don't even listen to it because, you know, what they're saying really doesn't matter. So I was just focused on helping this team win, giving them the best absolute chance. Just start off with a great week, being focused, practicing hard, and, you know, I just kind of waited on my opportunity since I've gotten here, and and my number was called, so I just tried to make a play, and it worked out.
What does it mean to you to have been really the difference maker tonight?
You know, I'm just glad I had an opportunity to make a play and help this team. A great collective effort. I know this is the most important thing going on for us this week, and you know, we found a way. We found a way.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Send it to you, Al.
All right, Michelle. Well, so many things to think about, talk about strategically. There's Doug Peterson calling for that timeout. He had that one in his pocket. There was the kick that would have been good and sent Chicago off to Southern California. And then you've got, after the timeout, this. And that sends the Philadelphia Eagles on their continued Nick Foles magic carpet ride. And let's take a look at the bracket now for the NFC. You've got Philly at New Orleans. Fox has that for you Sunday in the late window. And then Dallas against the Rams Saturday in the late window at the Coliseum, 4 against 2. And that's the NFC bracket. You know, we did the Eagles last year. We had them in the divisional against Atlanta, tight game. We had them in the Super Bowl. I mean, this is really almost eerie right now.
It really is, and it all goes back to Nick Foles. You could feel the energy change when he came in. Not that this team thinks he's a better quarterback than Carson Wentz, none of that. But they could then sort of reflect back on what had happened to him a year ago. And it was almost like, well, we did it then. Why can't we do it again? They win 3 in a row. They win this one somehow, and they are marching on now against a team that blew them out earlier in the season.
Right, and that was the low point of the season. Malcolm Jenkins said that last night. But you look at that Philly season. The following week they came back. They played the Giants at home. They were down 19-3 in the first half. Got a touchdown at the end of the first half, 2-point conversion. Hung on to win that game. Then they lost to Dallas in overtime. Didn't even have a chance to have the ball. 3 wins down the stretch. Now this. Off to New Orleans.
I've got to say, though, if you had told me Mitch Trubisky was going to play like this, I thought the Bears would have won the football game. But it was a little bit of Foles magic one more time. And how long will it go? Who knows?
Yeah. And meanwhile, you got Dallas going on to Los Angeles as the Cowboys take on the Rams. We will be, of course, in Kansas City with Indianapolis coming to town against KC. Looking forward to that one. The Chargers will go to New England.
Yeah, Dak Prescott, what a game he had yesterday. So everything gets a little bit more interesting, and we get a chance to see Showtime Patrick Mahomes next week as well.
Arrowhead will kick off the divisional weekend. We have wrapped up the wild card weekend. Another look at what would have won the game instead, the double doink. Khalil Mack, his season ends on a sour note, but the Bears 12-4. Doug Peterson, the reigning champions. Can they defend it? For Matt Nagy, that look will say it all at the end of what was a great year. That's it. Stay tuned. The Golden Globes only minutes away from Soldier Field in Chicago.